Good evening, radio fans, and welcome back to another episode of Davey Mac's Tales from the Satellite. I'm your host, Bobby Tambro, and joining me as always is the star of the program, the flu man himself, making Michael Jordan look like a pansy, Eastside David McDonald.
Thank you so much, Robert. Thank you, and thank you to all the Eastside Davidians out there as we do yet another epic Davey Mac's Tales from the Satellite. And yeah, I'm down with the sickness. It's probably COVID. I haven't been able to, in all honesty, I'm trying to be responsible. I haven't been able to go outside literally since Sunday. Okay. We couldn't do the Davey Mac Sports program on Monday. Apologize to everybody. We will be back next Monday unless I'm dead, because I told Robert, I called up Robert yesterday. I go, hey, Robert, Roy, I'm feeling better. Would you want to do a Davey Mac Sports program? Roy says, I can. I'm booked for the rest of the week. But Robert said, no, but we could do a Tales from the Satellite. I says, ooh, that's perfect. We always want to look out for our patrons. Our patrons are most important to us, all the Eastside Davidians out there. And so I says, okay, let's do it. I am going to warn you. I am hopped up on so much Dayquil, NyQuil, and other various medications and narcotics. Some of them legal, some of them illegal. But the point is,
ironically, I'm not sick, but I am too.
Yeah. And so when we're ready to rock, we're ready to rock. And that's the deal. So we're excited. Well, I just want to say we're excited for this episode. I want a little leeway with the voice, with the audience. If they're like, hey, you sound sick. I'm fucking sicker than sick, yo. I'm 1 foot in the grave, yo. I'm 1 foot in the grave. There might not be a Davey Mac next week. This could be the last Tales from the Satellite you ever hear. Not because we don't love doing them, but because I could be fucking dead as disco. I don't feel good. Every time I get up, I walk for like 5-10 feet. I'm instantly sweating, and I got to go lay down. I'm sure I got some fucking new strain of COVID, some sort of evil fucking Star Wars COVID. But again,
it's the curse of the acolyte.
What am I supposed to do? Go to the store, get a COVID test. That's going to tell me I have COVID, and then I still have to sit at home eating goddamn fucking Ritz crackers, drinking ginger ale, which I did all day yesterday. and here's the thing. That shit really does work, because I got myself some beautiful chunky Campbell's soup and some Ritz crackers and some fucking ginger ale. And I started eating them, and I had the soup. And next thing you know, I go, oh, I feel great. I'm going to reach out to Roy and Robert. Hey, would you like to do the Davey Mac Sports program? I know, we couldn't do it on Monday. No, we're booked, David.
Whoa. Let's not. This might be the Dayquil talking. We don't want to throw anybody under the bus for actually having a job.
This episode may be controversial, because I'm telling you, when I start fucking in on the Dayquil, you got no idea what I'm going to say. I haven't been sleeping well. And here's the other thing, COVID. Is this a COVID thing, Robert? But when did this become a thing? Now, if I lay in bed too long, I get the worst fucking lower back pain that a human being could ever have. And someone said, well, it's probably your mattress. My mattress is just fine. It's a beautiful goddamn luxury king-sized mattress. It's gorgeous. No, it's not the mattress. So,
well, I mean, so sometimes when I'm have like a flu or COVID type thing and I get a lot of congestion, that lower back pain is actually just like my stomach being upset from the drainage in it. And it feels like it's the lower back, but it's actually like the lower gut, the intestine, if you will.
no, this is when every time now with the COVID, I lay down, but once it gets to more than like 4 hours, it's like someone's putting a goddamn fucking metal spike in the the bottom of my back. Yeah.
I know you started a Sopranos rewatch. Should I be worried you're talking to the feds?
No. I mean, that's going really well too. I'm up to season 4 of The Sopranos. And I was in North
a lot
Jersey.
Of free time.
I was in North Jersey over the weekend for IWF, the Independent Wrestling Federation, of which I am New Jersey's greatest manager.
Of course.
And I had 2 championship matches, a tag team championship match with my boys, the Atkins brothers, versus the Dark Oracle, versus Kevin Knight and KC Bonilla. And I had a world heavyweight championship match with my man, first class Justin Adams versus the Dark Oracle Sage. They had me handcuffed to the Dark Oracle Sage's good guy manager, Eloy Fiesta, because they consider me, New Jersey's greatest manager, Eastside Dave, to be evil and a cheat. That's what they say.
I say if you're not cheating, you're not trying.
And I want to mention this too, Robert. There's a little kid on Big A. Andrew Gold was there. Andy, great photographs as always. Thank you, bro. Andrew put a bunch of photographs out there. I released them, so go check out my social media account at Eastside Dave. But if you want to see even more photographs, there's IWF's accounts. There's this little kid in some of these photos. He's got glasses, a little punk. Little fucking punk. Okay, can't be much older than 6 or 7. I don't care. If you're watching this right now, kid, that means you're a Patreon. And I'm going to tell you something, kid. You're a fucking punk. Because this little fucking kid, spiked blonde hair, glasses, he had this bandana like a Bam Bam Bigelow, black with fire bandana. I come up, New Jersey's greatest manager, Eastside Dave. I go out with Justin Adams for the World Heavyweight Championship match, which was the main event.
Wow.
All these fucking kids surround me. They start going, you suck. You suck. You know what I told them? You suck.
Oh, you got him.
But on my way to the fucking mat, on my way to the ring, that little fucking kid with the glasses and the bandana and the spiky blonde hair punched me in the stomach. I'm not shitting you. I'm not shitting you. He punched me in the stomach. Now, his stupid 7-year-old hand didn't have much of an effect, except I was getting sick on Saturday.
Yep.
He punches me in the stomach. Here we are on Wednesday, and I'm still fucked up. So, yeah, I'm blaming COVID, or maybe this is just a flu, but I'm also blaming that little fucking brat for punching me in the stomach.
Yeah, no, you shouldn't punch people. The good news is, if you were already starting to feel sick, chances are you gave him COVID. So he's feeling just as sick as you are. You got the punch back 8 days later.
I would have been responsible too. Would have never gone to the event had I had COVID, but it literally started developing during the first match. Like, this is something that never happens to me. I go out there and I'm all excited. And I'm actually rather proud of myself because my son's there, as you know. Stanley Mack goes to all these events. And I asked him, could you tell that I was really, really sick? And he's like, you were sick? I was like, yeah, I was really sick. He's like, you couldn't tell at all. Because honestly, for each match, I gave it my all. But after the Atkins match, the tag team match, I go back and I fucking puked like 8 or 9 times. I'm just literally throwing up. And then they go, okay, Davey Mack, main event time. And I have to go back there, get handcuffed for the main event to Eloy, get ready to fucking throw powder at his face and punch him, unlock myself, and then help Justin win the goddamn championship. All of those things happened except the last part where he didn't win the championship. We were foiled. But that's how I got out. I was able to fucking I kept powder in my coat pocket. I threw it in Eloy's fucking face, blinded him, grabbed his key out, and these were real handcuffs. So I found one thing that I could be a great cop because I can fucking not only get cuffs on people, I can fucking get the key and undo the cuffs in a matter of seconds.
I like that you added the part about putting the cuffs on because otherwise it just sounds like you'd be a great criminal. I'm able to get out of any handcuffs.
So after the tag team match, I threw up 8 or 9 times. Still like a hero, went out for the main event.
Talk about leaving it all on the mat.
I literally yelling, screaming, yelling at children, doing everything that I can. I gave it my all. But it was after that, on the way home in the car, I'm throwing up out of the driver's window.
Oh, God.
On the New Jersey Turnpike, so they think I'm some fucking freak. Just
drunk.
Literally like a goddamn Hunter S. Thompson fucking cartoon come to life. I'm just driving and throwing up all at the same time. And then
we got a Springsteen Jr.
And then Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, I've never been so sick in my entire life. I felt better yesterday. Now I realize that was just the chunky soup talking. Because I'm back into hell today. But it's too late to cancel this fucking shit. We're not. We're doing this show today.
No, we're 10 minutes in. There's no turning back.
We're doing this show, and we're doing Davey Mack Sports Program. Will return next Monday. We thank you. I am not the person, by the way, in case, just a little reminder. I am the last person in the entire universe who cancels shows. I hate canceling shows. I never like canceling shows. I'm not one of these. There are a lot of people, they like the idea of being a radio host. They like the idea of being a big shot. But once they achieve their big shot goals, it shows when they start taking days off and days off and days off. This isn't anyone specific to us on satellite radio, but I've heard some things.
And I like to say, what do you do when you wake up in the morning and your head's on fire and your eyes are too bloody to see? You can go and cry in your corner, but don't you come bitching to me, big shot. Little Billy Joel for you, Dave. Sorry, I know the Dayquil is all over the place.
No, that was good. That was good. I got the Billy Joel. You didn't have to say Billy Joel. You should have let me guess, you fucking jerk.
Oh, I didn't want to put you on the spot like that.
You just gave the answer. You were doing a song lyric, and I was gonna guess, and I had the goddamn fucking big shot Billy Joel answer. And I feel like I'm being deprived of 50 points because you didn't let me answer the goddamn fucking thing. I never seen Alex Trebek ask a goddamn question on Jeopardy and then just give the goddamn answer himself. Jesus fucking Christ, Robert!
You know what, Dave? Maybe I can make it up to you. I've got a double Jeopardy option that involves both music and sports. Any interest? I'll give you 100 points if you get it right. All right, you see my hat, the Beautiful Bodies.
Yeah.
That is a band. Why am I wearing this hat today? What does it mean?
The Beautiful Body. You told me this before the show.
Yeah, and you went, I don't know if it's the Dayquil or if you're crazy, Rob. I can't tell.
The Dayquil, you told me it was something to do with the Kansas City Royals. And I said, can we just please start Tales from the Satellite already? What is the hat?
So basically, this was the band. And when the Royals made their run to the World Series, they chose this band song. They were kind of they were an opening act for Real Big Fish. To give you
2015 is when they won the World Series.
Yep. I became friends with the band because they came on tour to State College and we knew they were the opening act. So we made signs for them specifically. And they came out and we're like, where's Bobby and Dave? And then they gave me the mic to sing one of their songs. And I did not know the words because we were not really fans. But then the band blew up kind of like the Big Shot you were talking about. They all got an ego and broke up and now they're all doing their own thing. So I'm wearing the hat to support the Royals. I'd like to see them, Did you watch last night?
No, the Royals they've been playing some decent baseball. I know that they're trying to get into the playoffs.
7-game skid. I think they ended it last night. I didn't get a chance to check the scores this morning yet. But
it's over for them now.
They're still in it though. They're still in the playoffs even with that
wild
skid.
Card.
Yeah, wild card. But
Cleveland's got that division wrapped up. But the Royals have a chance at a wild card spot. That was weird. Like now that you think about it, that World Series was almost 10 years ago. It was like that was like a 3-year period where the Kansas City Royals were back. Where like they were back to like, the early 80s, mid 80s George Brett Saberhagen era where they were fucking one of the best teams in all of baseball. Then they went on like a 30-year skid of nothingness. And then in like 2014, 2015, they came back. They were good again. Now they kind of suck, but actually they're trying to scrap and claw for a wild card spot. All right, but let's do this.
That's our baseball talk for the day. Today we are talking about perhaps somebody whose ego should have been smaller. Somebody who, according to the source material I found, this was called the Power Trip. This is the episode you could describe as Dave's darkest moment, but I like to think it might have been one of your finest hours. To quote Apollo 13, it is when Earl tried to get you fired by sending an email.
Hey, Fez Watley back in today. Fez, how are you?
Good, buddy.
You feel all right? His mic sounds way different to mine. We had gigantic mic problems on Friday, too, where large pockets of the XM Nation either couldn't hear me or the callers. So, does that sound okay to you, Earl?
How does it sound, Earl? Oh, it sounds awful to me.
Yeah, you sound very tinny.
Yeah.
You sound okay, just need to juice you up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Juice me up a bit.
Then you go ahead and do that.
I think he's trying to come on to me.
I wonder why, like, when I watch Letterman, I never see him going, what's wrong with these cameras? How come the cameras aren't set up properly?
Is Paul Schaefer's mic off?
No one ever asked the host of TV to start directing the TV show as it's going on. These are questions I'm talking to you about, Earl.
No, I mean, again, it was just a situation that, we were just trying to do a lot of things at once, trying to make sure everything worked okay. And
what did you try to make sure worked okay?
Make sure that the hookups were right as far as, being connected to the proper studio.
There was no replay, right? You knew that.
Actually, this room was live. This room, they were running the replay out of this room, so we couldn't do a lot of
instant replay, you idiot.
Oh, the instant replay. I'm sorry. We were trying to find connector cables to make sure that worked. Okay, all right.
And yet, no one brought that up until 5 minutes before the show when I said it, and then everyone went and got connector cables. So I don't know what would have happened.
That was brought up to me when I walked in, and that was a situation. Again, we were trying to rectify.
You know what you ought to get is one of those clipboards that has everything that you need to do, and then as you accomplish each thing, you could check it off.
Yes, I was attempting to do that, but it didn't work out.
What were you attempting to do? Go to Best Buy, pick up some stuff? What were you how did the attempts go awry?
No, I mean, things were assumed that were wrong.
Yeah, but if you had the clipboard, you'd be able to go, okay, do I have an instant replay? Do I have computers for Fez? And then you click them off one at a time.
Yes, you're correct.
I should have told you about this before, shouldn't I have?
No, not at all. I mean, this is something I should have been very well aware of. And again, that was things I was trying to rectify before the show. I was like, okay, these are the things that they need. And again, it was just getting completely sidetracked.
The one piece of equipment he knows works is the snack machine. That is working perfectly.
I came in here today and I saw everyone in a blind panic. Literally in a panic, like you did not know that Wiki had this, was doing this build-out with the other studio for a long time.
No, I was very well aware of it, but again, just things kind of went crazy.
Why would they go crazy? You've had a month.
I can understand how that whole show open thing catches you off guard after almost 2 years.
Yeah, how did that grab you, where we do the exact opposite show opening?
That'll sneak up on you.
Earl?
Well, again, I was like, okay, let me load the show opening, but there were matters that were supposedly more pressing that I had to absolutely take care of at that moment.
More pressing than the start of the show.
That's what I said. That's exactly what I said.
Who are you saying this to? Who are these people? Is it God?
Oh, Lord.
Who could pull you away from your job?
Again, I was told, I was like, they need your attention. It has to be done right now.
Who is they? I want some specific names, Earl.
Well, Dave was saying this has to be done right now. This has to be taken care of.
What was it that Dave couldn't do?
Honestly, I don't know. He was like, you need to talk to the guys. We are in a problem with the instant replays. And I went, well, I have to take care of this now. Mm-hmm. And he was like, this can wait. I didn't
see you in here working on the replay.
Well, I was trying to grab one of the engineers just to see what the situation was.
So right now, if you had to put the blame on anybody, it would be Dave?
Well, specifically for the opener, yes, that would be Dave.
Okay. Hey, Matt, whoops. Let's see. Matt, you're on Run Fez.
Hey, Miss Pre-Employed Earl.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, just wanted to say everything sounds fine on the air. It's coming through fine.
All right, thank you very much, brother. I appreciate it. Here's Paul. Paul, you're on Run Fez.
1867, buddy.
Yeah, what do you say, pal?
Hey, I mean, I like Earl and everything, but if there was a place kicker in the NFL and he just attempted to do his job and not do it, he wouldn't have one. So how does Earl...
Hold on. What if that place kicker was the only black guy on the team?
I guess you'd have to keep him. Good
Perfect.
Good.
All right, 866 Ron Zero Fez. 866 Ron Zero Fez. Here is Peter. Peter, you're on Ron Fez.
Hey, Ronnie, you're the best. Fez, good to hear you back, buddy.
Thanks, pal.
Ronnie, at this point, this is just making you look bad. This kid's a fuck-up.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to get rid of him.
Yeah, but here's the other point, too. It's karma. I've lived a horrible life, and this is my punishment. As a matter of fact, I have the feeling I've been dead for 10 years. If I had to guess, I'm like Tim Robbins in whatever that crazy post-Vietnam movie was. And I've been dead for 10 years, and this is my punishment. Here is Richard. Richard, you're on the Run of Fez show.
Hey, Ronnie, what's going on?
Yeah.
Hey, maybe I don't pay close enough attention to the show, but I thought Earl was Dave's boss. And now you've got Dave telling Earl what to do? Is that what's happening?
Yeah, it would be very hard for me to understand what it's like to have one of your subordinates stop you from doing your job because they were making a mess. Wouldn't you be yelling at those guys, Earl, and straightening them out?
Yes, under normal circumstances, yes. But when I'm being told, he's like, you need to talk to the guys immediately. I mean, it has to be taken care of.
Then, Earl, will you do something about this Dave situation? Is it time for a suspension? Do we cancel the wedding?
Do we stop this power trip he's on?
Do you feel like Dave really isn't working out here?
Well, I mean, as far as the wedding, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what the situation is with this wedding. I really don't.
What do you mean you don't know what the situation is? You're the executive producer.
No, well, let me rephrase that. I'm just saying, as far as the wedding, I mean, I wouldn't cancel the wedding. Not yet. But,
is shit going to roll downhill? Are you going to get your staff together?
Yes, I will.
And what are you going to do about it? Is somebody's ass going to be either fired or suspended for today? That the little shit studio wasn't set up. By the way, I don't know how the folks in Frank's place do it.
No.
This is like the old 1950s, how many people you fit into a phone booth. And for anybody under the age of 25, a phone booth is a place that you used to have to go before cell phones. I don't know why, but Superman would change there. What are you going to do to him, Earl?
We're going to have a nice long talk after the show.
Why a long talk? Why can't you make a move?
It's not a matter of making a move. It's just there's some things I just want to say and things that need to be addressed, and I'll address them after the show.
Earl, who puts together the openings for you?
Pepper.
So all you had to do was hit play. That was the only responsibility you had left, right?
Yes, but we had it in a different format. Usually you have an audio format and a WAV format. We had it in a WAV format, and I was going to load it through the WAV format, and that's when I got sidetracked, and then we couldn't get it.
By who?
By Dave.
What did Dave want again?
He just told me that I needed to speak to them immediately.
To who?
To you and Fez.
So you didn't speak to us immediately. You talked to us 5 minutes before the show started.
Long before it was time for you to push that one button, George Jetson.
Wave. So that was 5 minutes before, right?
Yes.
And plus, as the executive producer of the show, don't you want to talk to the host every day before the show?
Oh, of course.
He's shy.
Were you not going to then if Dave didn't come in?
No, I had every intention of doing that. But again, there was just so many things going on. It wasn't no disrespect to you guys at all. But again, there was a lot going on. And
but what happened in the 5 minutes that you had since you came slinking in here, staring at your shoes and shallow breathing, and the start of the show. What happened then?
Again, I didn't mean it that way. I was just, again, there was so many things going on, and I had to take care of so many things before the show started, and I wasn't in a panic. I was just concerned.
But what happened in the 5 minutes that you had to hit the play button?
Again, we were having some trouble loading one of the CDs, and that was a problem I was trying to take care of. I was like, okay, why is this thing not loading properly?
So that seems far away from the Dave problem, though.
Yes, but I was in the midst of taking care of that. That's when I got called.
What is he talking about, Fez?
I don't know. Apparently he was trying to load a CD into Dave, and that's where the problems all started.
Here is, let me go to Brian. Brian, you're on the Run of Fez show.
Hey, buddies.
Yeah.
Hey, in this day and age, you have Lily is a Muslim, is she not?
Yes, she is.
Well, I think, aren't they, Lily and Earl, kind of interchangeable on the equal opportunity scale now? Couldn't you drop Earl and still be okay because you employ Lily?
Very good question. Earl, would you be willing to step down for Lily?
No, I would not be willing to step down for Lily. Not at all.
Would you be willing to get rid of Dave for Lily?
Dave for Lily? That's very intriguing. That's a very, very good proposition, but that's the one I have to think about.
You can't think. You got to go. We're on the air now. I can't tell people, please check back in here 7 hours from now for the rest of the show.
If I had to swap out Dave for Lily, I would say no.
Dave for Pepper.
Dave for Pepper? Yeah, I would swap out Pepper for Dave.
So why aren't you doing that if you're the executive producer? Why aren't you trying to put together the best team possible for Ron and Fez?
No, I will. I mean, it's not something that, it's something I would do in a heartbeat and then would do, but I got to go through proper channels.
So is that what you're planning on doing?
Yes, it's something I'm definitely want to do.
You're going to put the paperwork in motion to get rid of Dave.
Yeah.
And bring in Pepper Hicks.
Well, good news for you, Pepper Hicks. Congratulations. As soon as the paperwork goes through, you're in.
There's been a case study done, apparently, and now the paperwork's being filed.
This is what I always wanted, guys.
Sure. Hey, welcome aboard. Welcome aboard. Personally, I feel like you've been shanghaied.
Hope you don't get caught up in all that red tape for Earl's paperwork filing.
Email. Do you remember this at all?
See, this is going to be interesting because we've talked about this off the air, and I like to be surprised, as everyone knows, for all of these shows. So Robert said we have a really good topic. Actually, we have 3 good topics. We're going with this one first for this episode. And it was Earl trying to get me fired with an email, and I have to tell you, you're going to have to refresh my memory. What happens with these shows is things always kick in with the old memory and whatnot. But this one, maybe it's because I felt like Earl was always trying to get me fired. I mean, pretty much all of Earl's actions were trying to get me fired from day one, like where he pinned the whole, taping over the Grammys with the Yankee game in the Opie and Anthony office, and then letting me take all the heat for it, even though that was clearly his mistake, or any of the other incidents where Earl let me take the heat, even though it was his fault.
Well, part of the reason you might not remember this one as much is you didn't really do anything that warranted firing. We'll get to that in a second. Like, there wasn't a big thing that set this off. Before we do, though, when did you get married? What's your wedding date?
June of 2007.
Probably June 21st.
Yeah.
Okay.
Remember, I'm now divorced, so that
it's not an important date. No, the reason I asked, though, is before you even get to ask, this episode occurs on June 20th, 2007.
Oh, this is so it was the day before the wedding at the Hard Rock Cafe.
That Sirius had spent probably $20,000 on at this point.
Yeah, that's odd timing, Earl. It was June 21st, 2007. So this is June 20th. So the June day 20th. Before I'm getting married, this motherfucker writes an email to get me fired. What? Oh my God. Let me ask everyone a question. How does that guy have a job? Here's the Dayquil talking. I run circles around that fucking cunt. Oh, if one thing has been exposed on Tales from the Satellite, is that I am so fucking superior to Earl Douglas. It's not even funny. So I will officially put myself out there for Earl Douglas's job on the Bennington Show right here, right now.
Oh shit. Dayquil challenge. I love it.
Yeah, because that is not something that I would do if I wasn't under a lot of Dayquil and a huge assortment of other drugs. And I am, because I got the sickness. But I'm going to tell you right now, Earl, you are so fucking lucky that whoever at SiriusXM forgot what kind of fucking crazy person and on-air non-entity you are, what kind of non-creative person you are. And they're lucky, Earl. And you know what? I'm happy I'm doing this show so that I can at least point out how fucking better I am at every single job in radio than Earl Douglas. I'm better at him than every single thing. So if the Bennington Show wants me, I will officially state it right now, only because Earl Douglas has bothered me so much this morning. Even though we haven't even really talked about it yet. The fact that he's trying to get me fired the day before I'm getting married is a fucking classless, low-red scumbag move. And so, this is the Dayquil talking. I'm better than you, Earl. I officially put in my candidacy for your job.
I like how you said you wouldn't have made that challenge without the conditions you were under, because Sirius will not accept the challenge under any conditions. I can assure you of that. But before
SiriusXM SiriusXM should listen to me with regards to radio. But again, pride is the biggest sin in American society these days. And so there's a whole shitload of people in that company who know that I'm the fucking man. But it's always, he's crazy or this or that. Shut the fuck up. Some of that fucking he's crazy was an act, you stupid assholes. That's what we've established right here on Tales from the Satellite. I know how to be a fucking, I know how to work. I know how to fucking go crazy. I know how to just be goddamn entertaining and bring opinions and passion to a fucking show that is absolutely unrivaled by anyone currently there. That's Sam and Dave or Sam and fucking Jim. I tried to listen to their show. I'm not disrespecting Sam Roberts or Jim Norton, but who are their fucking interns and producers? What a bunch of boring dorks. I had to turn it off because they were trying to talk to these people like, I don't know, Hot Dog or all of these
fucking
fucking
Sam's guy.
Well, they're total boring stiffs. Why does SiriusXM like having boring people on the radio rather than intelligent, creative people? Who, maybe with creative, intelligent people, sometimes, you got to deal with some shit.
Yeah.
It's better than a fucking monotone asshole. That's the way I think. And some of the producers that I hear on SiriusXM, oh my God, boring stiffs. It's like SiriusXM needs a goddamn fucking personality injection. A lot of boring people there.
I think, to be honest, I think that's the Sirius way now. Like, they don't want crazy
Boring?
or entertaining. They want to be McDonald's. They want to serve you the same thing every way.
Yeah.
Not super out of the norm. Like hot dog, for example.
Was always edgier. XM was always edgier. XM was always the more, and I can say this as for a fact since I've worked at both companies. When it was only XM, that was a more creative, experimental, edgier place that would try stuff. Hey, if you have an idea, let's do it. Let's go for it. And Sirius, they just run it like an FM station that they charge you money for. That's how Sirius runs it. If Sirius wants to get back to something, get back to the fucking Sirius XM. Get back to the XM component where you had some fucking fun people. And by the way, in my opinion, that is where society's going right now. Like, what they don't understand is they should be actually looking to getting back to 2000 aughts.
Yeah, that's what everybody's
society,
going for.
we have gotten to the point of absolute political correctness now. And I'm not going to get into this topic. Everyone talks about cancel culture, political correctness, or this or that. But I'm always able to see the writing on the wall of where the things are going to happen. I always make predictions. I always call it like
radio
I see it,
psychic. Radio psychic.
I'm always fucking right. And the bottom line is that society is moving to an edgier, politically incorrect phase because people are sick and fucking tired of being told you can't say this. I'm offended when you talk like this. This word's offensive. That word, blah, blah, blah. People have been dealing with that shit now for 15 years and we're done with it. And you could see why some of the Shane Gillises and this or that, this is what it looks like when you start seeing more and more people realize fuck all the political correct shit, fuck everything, and fuck all the boring bullshit. Let's get back to fucking mixing it up, being real people. SiriusXM needs an injection of personality. Real people fucking bringing the fire.
Absolutely.
I put it out there to you, SiriusXM. Let's see if you have the balls
to hire the Tales from the Satellite show.
No, they would never.
Okay, well, let's not shoot down right away, Dave. Let's give both of us a shot here.
Oh, yeah.
But no, just to illustrate your point, the guy you were talking about, Hot Dog, when he was an intern for O&A, his last day, he threw cheeseburgers at E-Rock and then did not graduate because E-Rock failed him for his internship. Like, he used to be edgy and was on board. And now Sirius comes in and is like, nope, you got to be straight edge. You got to be Mr. Monotone. Even their guy, Mike Monotone or whatever his name is literally monotone.
There's all of these people with monotone voices and very boring. There's no juice in SiriusXM these days. There's no energy. There's no juice. How about a little fucking juice? How about a little excitement? How about someone mixing it up every once in a while? That's why Earl Douglas, I'm coming in. I'm coming to take you down, baby.
I'm on.
What do you think about that, Dougie? Be afraid. Be very afraid. Dayquil Dave.
Yeah, we're flirting with that line, Dayquil Dave. So to just kind of before we even get into the story, just to set up the environment you're in not in your normal studio. You're in Frank's place because they were doing a build out in your studio. You weren't able to be in there.
Yes, Frank's place. We had to do it it was still the place on 57th Street. And that's probably when they were expanding the studios, the O&A, Ron and Fez studios. And they made it like a crazy size with the bleachers and all that shit. But until that was ready, we had to go into Frank's place, which was just this little tiny, like fucking like, practically like a voiceover booth.
Room,
it was small. And it's like, we fucking had to put Ron, like, there was like a table like 2 feet by 2 feet. It was like, it would look like Ron and Fez were playing chess. Like Ron would be sitting on a table and like Fez is like right across from him and they're like 6 inches apart. Like the way you would see like two guys playing chess. It didn't feel like this is conducive for radio. You're just like looking at the person like 4 inches away from your face. So Fez, what do you think?
I think it brought out the best of Fez, though, to be honest, because I was watching this with a family member who isn't a fan of the Ron and Fez show. Like, they just didn't know of it. And their comment was like, boy, that gay guy's quick. So just in this time period, that's not what he was known for. You know what I mean? So I think it might have brought him out a little bit. My favorite line from Ron to describe the size was Frank's literal place. His casket is bigger than the room they've got us in. He was on fire this whole episode, but
it was very small, very weird.
At one point during this, when you're trying to defend yourself against Earl, Ron goes, "Look at Dave. He's standing in the doorway, but he realizes there's no mic in here for him. He should go back to the producer's booth." Like Nico, the intern, was being the door guy, but he didn't have access to hear the show, so he couldn't hear when Ron wanted somebody or him to go get something. Like it sounds like it was a chaotic.
Yeah, because that's right. If we were having a hard time figuring out how are we going to be able to hear the show, because like when it's like O&A or Ron and Fez in the other studio, there's an out side of the studio speaker, but we didn't have that speaker with this booth. So basically, Ron and Fez would walk in this tiny little booth and they were gone. And it was difficult to keep track of how are we going to listen to the show that's currently going on live right now? This was not an ideal situation.
The other big issue before the show was right when you were getting there, Ron realized you needed specific cables to be able to do instant replay so that they could hear the instant replay of the show, that you needed specific wires. So that was occurring as the show started. And then there was a hiccup with the opening. And so Ron's already fired up as the show starts.
By the way, the instant replay, the little machines that you press the button and they make a sound effect.
Oh, okay. I thought it was like being able to recall the show. But I realized it was the sound effect machine.
So the people would call those machines 360s or instant replays. Instant replay being that would be the machine that Ron would have in front of him, and he would hit, face, or, spy report. Ron and Fez both had those machines loaded with like different stuff. Yeah.
I actually got that. We didn't use them in the podcasting studio when we met, but they did have Anthony's old 360 machine back in the back. So I got to play around with it one day. And I mean, it seems like at the time it was probably cutting edge, but like now you just get an iPad.
You also don't hear that kind of, do people even do that as much? Just like drop in like little like audio blurbs in the middle of people talking because, they can press a button.
There are like two people left who do that. One's the dude who does the Jocktober podcast, Who Are These Podcasts? So he still has the instant replay machine because he's trying to sound like O&A. And then the other guy's Michael Malice, who would just take political quotes and play them out of context at random points during his show. That's why I knew the iPad worked. nothing like
to me. There's I like the instant replay for like something like a production, like some sort of production for a segment like Spy Report. But when you're just, sometimes Opie would be hitting the goddamn fucking 360 machine like he's fucking, Stevie Wonder playing the fucking keyboards. And he's just like hitting all kind of noises. And you're like, what is the reason for this?
Well,
why are you hitting all these buttons? What's going on here? Does this have anything to do with what you're talking about? So
there were points where him and Anthony would just fight with it. All kidding aside, on air, it would just be them hitting buttons back and forth of sound effects at each other. And you're like, I mean, this is fun, but this isn't really
fun for you guys. It's very fun to press those buttons and hear the noises, as you would imagine. I'm not going to lie about that. That's fun. But at the same time, you have to remember that there are people listening to your radio show. So you are just hitting, you're just making random fucking sounds.
Now, even though the on-air episode hasn't even started yet, I've got our first deep question. Do you feel responsible for the death of the 360 machine?
By the way, Robert, I just noticed there's gray in my fucking beard here. I thought it was toothpaste because I always take a shower.
Oh, a little salt and pepper, Dave. It looks good.
No,
man.
I'm not necessarily into that.
I'll be honest, it looks good. It doesn't look aging to you. It almost adds a little character.
All right. What was the goddamn fucking... Well, because if you see me trying to wipe it, I keep thinking it's like cream or butter. And now I'm realizing, oh, no, that's just my hair. That means that the hair is white. There's no toothpaste.
Oh, man, take a look at my life.
I really fucked in the head with Dayquil today. As you were talking, I'm just touching my fucking is there toothpaste.
I thought you were mad because I didn't comb mine.
Yeah, I think I'm actually pretty like slightly high right now. I am officially intoxicated in some way, shape, or form. It's pharmaceutical intoxication, which is really scary. All right, what's the question? Am I what?
Do you feel partially responsible for the death of 360 or the music for segments? Because let's be honest, Davey Max Sports Program, influential show, inspired a lot of knockoffs. Who did you have? You had Roy Harder. You didn't need a 360 because you had a human 360 machine in front of you. And I think a lot of people have gone away from it without hiring someone as talented as Roy.
Hey, I'm not going to even say it. I'm not going to give them a shout out, but I just heard another show that's using where one of the guys is using the keyboard.
No way.
Hold on. But he's not a musician. So he just thinks it's funny and cool. But this is another person who I know is a fan of the O&A Ron and Fez world.
No way.
And so he obviously is familiar with me, and he's trying to do keyboards. Here's the thing. I ain't worried because Roy Harder is a fucking phenomenal professional musician. Like getting a keyboard, great. Getting a keyboard and being able to play it like Roy Harder is totally different. This guy's played with fucking Paul Simon's band. Do people understand? So yeah, to the guy who's doing the keyboard gimmick and yet another person, it's amazing how many people can fucking it really is. It's either, like I said before, either people steal from me or I am just then consistently ahead of the curve. I'm consistently innovative, consistently ahead of my time all the time. So either people are stealing or I am just that innovative. The fucking Pat McAfee bullshit, where obviously he's watched the Davey Max sports program. He admitted to being Opie and Anthony and Ron and Fez fan. Yeah. He has made public statements where he says he's into Opie and Anthony and Ron and Fez. Pat McAfee just saw what I fucking do and took his goddamn punting money and put in more production behind it. Or whether it's this other fucking guy with the keyboard. Well, you can try your keyboard, but you can't play it like Roy Harder, daddy.
Nobody can.
No, the guy couldn't even play it.
Let alone, even if he was a good keyboardist, like it would be tough to keep up with Roy, let alone somebody who doesn't know how to play. But so do you feel like that did set the trend then a little bit? I mean, kind of answers the question that if in 2024 somebody's using the idea you had first in 2008.
Yeah, I don't know. No, it's just people probably just moved away from that thing because it's maybe sounded a little radio-ish.
Oh yeah, that would be so terrible to do.
Radio-y. I know.
No.
If it's done well, all the old school radio tricks and techniques are all great.
Yeah,
if done
you can
well.
See them being ripped off by other people today. But that's far from the point. So the show starts, and it starts with mic problems because I guess last week half the Sirius audience couldn't hear Ron, and the other half, the other half couldn't hear the callers and the booth. So Ron goes, "How do the mics sound, Earl?" And he's already frustrated because of the opening. Earl says, "They sound okay." Fez goes, "Yeah, how do they? Oh my God, I sound so tinny." So Earl starts to try to make adjustments right away. Ron points out this isn't a new thing. He says the thing about Friday, this happened, this is happening now. Earl says, sorry, he was running around before the show. And Ron just starts pressing him, which makes me very happy. Like, the way he does it was great. Like, I wonder why when I turn on Letterman, I don't see his guys running around like, oh, just 1 second, Dave, we got to get this camera working for you. It's almost like they test before the show. Have you ever considered testing the setup before the show?
Yeah.
And Earl is like, I should have been. I was setting up the cables instantly. And Ron goes, oh, you mean the cables I texted you about on the ride over going, if we don't have those, the replay can't happen? And Earl goes, yes, those cables, boss. And then he goes, Earl, have you ever thought of just getting a clipboard and writing down like all the responsibilities you should do before the show? And clearly he's made this suggestion a number of times.
Well, I don't know why the resistance towards a checklist. I've even occasionally suggested that to you, Robert, at certain points where you had one goddamn fucking production failure after another.
Mm-hmm. And what did I try to do?
No, but why?
I wrote an email to Don Wicklund. No.
Why are people resistant towards a good old fashioned checklist? I use them myself. I make checklists and things for myself all the time. You can't just be like, okay, I know that this shit needs to get done, but I'll do it on Monday. I'll get the cables over here, and then the next day I'm going to set it up totally different, and the next day I'll set it up totally different, and the next day I'll set it up totally different. You keep setting the studio up 4 to 5 different ways, things are going to fall through the cracks. If you set the studio up the same way every single day, then you're going to have an ability to know what you're missing. But it was just, it was like Earl was trying to, Han Solo fixing the Millennium Falcon in Empire Strikes Back. where he's, asking Chewbacca for, the certain hammer and some shit. You see what I'm saying? If you have a process, it should have been you clear out the studio, you bring in all of the stuff, set up the 360s first with the cables, then set up Ron's area, then Fez's area.
Especially
right?
radio, where you're doing the same
just,
thing every day.
You just put the fucking procedure down, and then it's like clockwork of, you or when you're out. The interns are going to know, like, the steps.
Yeah. Any intern, if you do it once at the beginning, in medicine they call it a protocol. That way any idiot can do it. Like, if you write it down, you can pass it along to the next set of interns. You don't have to re-show them how to do everything. Here's your list of steps.
Show, Earl was very odd, in fact, now that I think about it. Now, I'm going to give you a little insight. Before the show, he would disappear. Like, okay, forget about the Frank's Place shit. But, like, O&A show ends, right? So the show ends. You obviously give Opie and Anthony time and the people time to get out. They might linger a little bit. If they're just talking and they're standing, that's okay. That's okay. You let the Opie and Anthony guys go in there, take their stuff, and then you start bringing in your stuff in a systematic way.
Methodic.
But Earl would be like sort of walking back and forth between the Ron and Fez office and the studio, and then he'd be walking down the hallway, and then it almost felt like he was nervous, or I don't know. This is one of those things where sometimes Earl's antisocial behavior actually might like affect his job, because what I'm saying is maybe with all those O&A guys and Opie and Anthony themselves and comedians there, maybe he didn't, he was, I don't know, shy or this or that. But all of a sudden he'd just be missing before the show.
You can't do that.
He'd go missing.
Jesus.
And then he'd come in and check in the last like 5 seconds to make sure everything was correct. And then I'd say, where were you? He'd say, I had to check on a guest. Well, and I'd say, well, there are no guests booked for today. Well, no, but for tomorrow. And then I'd say, well, then you should fucking contact that guest after the fucking show or do it in the computer, because if the guest is for tomorrow, who gives you shit? We're doing a goddamn fucking show in 30 seconds.
And what I like about your methodology, as we've learned from like the arguments with Earl, you would get to work super early. So you could have everything set up before the show, and then you would tend to leave perhaps earlier than Earl did. But the difference was you got there, made sure the show was ready to go, and then you could leave. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying you would leave early, but the point being, instead of just lingering around until you got a moment to do your own thing, you were like, we're here to do the show. We're not here to do your production booth work. We're here to get a show off the ground. Let's make sure that's good. And I think that's a lot of the struggle that's going on specifically with you and Earl this day, because he was just saying he was in there trying to set up the cables. He was getting pulled all the directions. Fez joins the pylon and goes, well, then what the hell happened with the opener? And he goes, well, I was trying to figure that out, and he told me they needed me right now. And Ron goes, who the hell's he? And Earl goes, no, I take full responsibility. He does his classic line. And Ron does not take it. He eventually just goes, no, give me a name. And then he throws you under the bus and goes, well, Dave told me that they. And Ron goes, who's they? And then he goes, you and Fez. And Ron goes, I'm right here. Use my name. And it's just him busting Earl's balls about this. And
because he's lying. He's trying to fucking throw me under the bus. He's trying to say that I needed him for something.
No, what you needed him for was, and this is clear from listening to the audio, is Ron told you that the replay wasn't set up and he wanted Earl to set it up. So you went and got Earl to set up the replay. Chris had already handled the intro. It was ready to go. There was a wave format and an MP3 on the CD. Earl was trying to play the wave on the machine that played the MP3. He just wouldn't skip to the next file. That's clearly what happened. And I don't even know what machines you were working with, but just from piecing it together, that's what went down here. He's an idiot. I'm sorry. I love the show, and maybe this was part of an act, but what I think is impressive is it's the day before your wedding. I'm sure you have a lot going through your head dealing with that, just the marriage aspect, let alone the radio side of the marriage.
Here is Bill. Bill, you're on Run Fez.
Hey, let me get this straight, Ron. You were there 5 minutes before the show.
Yeah, I really was today because I caught a cab.
Did you just know that Earl was going to fuck up? Or?
Well, I knew that I knew Fez was coming back, so I knew I'd be seeing pie-eyed. And then also I knew that we were in this other shit studio, Frank's place, as they call it.
Frank should have a bigger place.
Frank's actual coffin is bigger than this. Steve just came by and is laughing at us. It really is. It really feels like play radio. Like it's not real radio.
Yeah, we got an old refrigerator box, and we're pretending that's our radio studio.
Here's Ron. Ron, you're on Fez.
Yeah, do you ever get tired of taking 30 minutes out of every day to explain to Earl what he's not doing?
You know, I think it's the funny thing is it's far more because you're not listening off the air. Off the air, it's even worse. And then we have to go. Wiki has this conversation with him. Elo would, but Earl hides from him.
I don't call it hiding.
What would you call it, Earl?
Hiding.
Witness protection.
Who is your dream team right now? Tell me the truth. Are you now? You tell me on the air that you're going to try to replace Hicks with Dave. And what a better time for Dave to get fired. It's just as he is getting married. But when is this all taking place? Or is this just something you say on the air to deflect responsibility for yourself?
I mean, it's something that will happen after the show today. I'll make a phone call. I'll shoot an email. This thing is going to happen.
Good. And it's going to happen why? Because he asked you a question before the show? What are your reasons going to be?
I mean, honestly, there's a lot of reasons. I'm like, sometimes I always try to tell him, I'm like, it's like, Dave, you're part of the show too. Sometimes I need help too. Sometimes
right.
I need to,
So when are you writing up the email? When can we expect the email before you send it to Wiki?
After the show.
I want it before. I want you to be able. Why don't you switch out with Pepper right now, and then you write up the email, the actual email that you're going to send to Wiki.
I want the subject heading to be, "My God, I'm only one man."
I'm fucking serious about this, Earl. I really want you to do it, and I want to be able to read the email, okay?
All right.
All right, so switch out. I think 15 minutes is enough time to put the email together. Does that sound like enough for you?
Yeah, that's enough time for me.
All right, so 15 minutes from right now. Now, I won't be able to tell because I don't have a clock in here. In the year 2007, my show has not mastered time. So I just feel like I'm going to have to guess 15 minutes from now. So, Hicks, this is exciting news for you. Best of luck.
This is fucking great.
Yeah, I know. What was the opening going to be today?
High fidelity into 13th floor elevators.
The kid's always thinking.
Yeah, that would have been great.
Yeah.
I would have loved to have heard that.
Sure. Here's Rocky. Rocky, you're on the Ron and Fez show.
Hey, I just want to know if Earl publicly apologized to O&A yet.
Right now, Earl is firing Dave as we speak. It's I'm going to make him send this out, too. This is going to be the boy who cried wolf. I am going to teach Earl a lesson by getting Dave fired today. That's my new management style.
Earl right now is writing up an email that he's going to send off to his supervisor, Wiki, complaining that it's time for Dave to go. An official email. That'll end up in Dave's files.
Johnny, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hi, boys. How are you? I was thinking of coming by today, but since you're in the other closet, I don't think I could fit with you.
You are always welcome. What we could do is run a cord out to you as you stand in the street.
I like that. I mean, that's probably going to have to do it. I got to tell you, the show that's going to be broadcasting out of that studio from 6 to 10 on the Boneyard, that guy's not going to be happy. He's never happy anyway.
Well, I just looked at the capacity that the fire department set up here. It's 2. So only 2 people before they'll come in and shut us down. Who's the Boneyard got tonight? I hope
Trunk.
Yeah, but I hope that Trunk has on his show some band. So, like, 9 of them have to force their way into here.
I mean, him and his head alone.
Yeah.
That's going to be a bad scene. So
that's ego, really.
Am I canceling this wedding now or something?
If Dave is fired, we're going to have to cancel the wedding.
Well, we can just do a regular show then.
Yeah.
And everyone gets some free appetizers.
Well, really, what I would like to have is just the space. So just to do a regular show off your stage would be great. I'm guessing we've got about another 6-7 minutes before Earl comes in here and lets us read the email that he's sending out to Don Wiki Wicklund. This is going to send a shock through XM programming since they just sunk a lot of money into Dave's wedding.
Yeah, and just a few days before it's to be held at the Hard Rock, Dave could be out.
Jeff, you're on Run Fez.
Hey, I tell you what, Dave gets fired, the show's dead to me. You're firing the wrong person. You need to get rid of Fez.
Why don't we do this, Jeff? When we fire, why would we get rid of Fez?
Because Fez don't like showing up to work. Something's always going on with him.
What if we do this? If we fire Dave, why don't you show up here, a one-man protest, and run over your XM radio in a truck out front?
Sure will.
Yeah.
See ya.
All right, take care.
Person.
So there you have it. The backlash has started against us, where basically Fez and I are becoming the most hated men in radio. We will stand. This may be a situation for the PAC. If I look out there and I see one person breaking a radio, I might panic. I might panic and call Dave back in. I don't know at this point.
Well, this could be the first time someone has been fired for asking questions. So we'll see exactly what happens here.
So you're saying he doesn't deserve to be fired?
No, I say no.
I disagree. I mean, you cannot, before the show, pull the show down by bringing up things that don't matter. You can't be, you're saying it's okay to ask questions. I'm not going to let the interns come in and ask me questions now while I'm on the air. Well, Earl was in the hot seat.
I can understand that, but I think all responsibility eventually flows to Earl.
Here's Tom. Tom, you're on Run Fez.
Hey, buddy.
Yeah.
You know that theory about the ripple effect of a butterfly's wing?
Causing a hurricane on the other side of the earth?
Exactly. Can you imagine how different life would have been if Earl had just pushed that button and played the opening?
I honestly think that the Iraq War would have turned around for us. I think enough things would have been put into play that maybe we'd be finding peace in the Middle East right now. Jeremy, you're on Run Fez.
What's up, Ronnie?
Yeah.
Hey, if they shit-can that dumb red-headed fuck, I think the rider should step back in.
You know, we have not seen the rider in some time. I'd love to see the rider show up at the wedding. Who knows, though? Who knows? Maybe there won't be a wedding. The butterfly effect is in effect right now. Here's Fake Riley. How are you?
What's up, buddies? Hey, why don't all the interns and Dave, why don't they band together and demand that Earl gets run off? They strengthen numbers.
Well, the last intern revolution did not go on to day 2. That's the problem with the intern revolution. They don't stick with it.
And we are about 3 minutes now from Earl having his email completed.
Rob, you're on the Run Fez show.
Hey, buddy.
Yeah.
Hey, I would fire Earl because that's his job to keep everything coordinated. That's not Eastside Dave's job.
Well, when Dave is fired, I suggest that you show up here outside of XM, run over your radio with a truck, and we'll fold like an omelet. That's my prediction. I wouldn't mind getting Deb on this. Letting her do a little something. I haven't seen her on TV lately. I'd like to see her sitting on Nightline going, how can Dave, by asking a question, bring down the show? And apparently you got Fez on your side now.
There'll be some sort of ginger help coming in.
T-Bone, you're on the Run of Fez show.
2-minute warning, Ronnie. 2-minute warning, and that idiot has to be back with the email.
2 minutes before we get to read the email, and I'm going to make this. I'm going to honestly make him send it to Wiki in Caravilo that he is asking for regime change. I love it.
Wiki doesn't even know this is coming. He thinks he's having a normal business day.
I love the fact that Earl's... This should be a normal business day for Wiki. He should be sitting there backing up one of his producers. Earl has the right to put together the team that he needs to make this little closet radio show a success. I love it back here. It's comfy. It's cozy. I feel like by the time we come out of here, out of this cocoon, we will be butterflies. In fact, that's going to be... We came in here as a couple of caterpillars. We're leaving as beautiful butterflies. That's the butterfly effect.
Just to spread our wings.
Mike, you're on Fez.
I just got on whack bag.
Yeah.
It says Dave fired. I'm going to punch my Inno and put it on YouTube.
Just let's see how this all plays out. No one panic. I'm willing to offer people a month free if we fire Dave. Give us a chance. You haven't heard the new show. Rick, you're on Fez.
Hey, Ronnie, listen, I am so tired of cop-out Earl and his bullshit whining, poisoning my ears. You need a real producer in there. Get Bernie McGurk.
You know what? First of all, give Earl the opportunity. I see Earl hanging out front. Bring him in to me, will you, Nico? Bring me Earl. Yes, you can't hear me at all, can you? So the guy who's standing outside that's going to be my runner can't hear the show.
Like you
my
broadcasted the whole wedding.
whole goddamn family's gonna be there. I had to. No, of course. I was dealing with my parents, my friends. I had from family and friends coming
People
to this thing.
Forget it's a real wedding, even though it happened on like it was an actual wedding.
I had family and friends coming to this thing, and yes, I had to answer a lot of questions from my family and friends. There was one goddamn question after another, and I was quite preoccupied with that. And you'd think Earl might have some little semblance of like being a human being. Hey, the guy's getting married on the radio tomorrow, and he's also having to get his family and friends in here into New York. He's probably dealing with a lot. Maybe I can actually just like properly set up a 360 and just hit play for a fucking introduction. Maybe I can just not fuck up my job, and so that Davey Mack can just do his thing for once. But he couldn't do it. I have to hold that guy's hand. At a certain point, why were we not just flip-flopped? And I've given all of his fucking money. Seriously.
I may actually have the answer to that.
Is there like that is someone who should not be in charge of anyone and should have never been in charge of me. I'm smarter than he is. I'm better at this at all of this than Earl Douglas. By far. Fucking far. He should have been working for me. At some point, they should have flip-flopped and said, here's a good fucking way for Dave. Going back to last episode, Dave wanted the raise. Let's just flip-flop Earl and Dave. Dave is the new senior fucking producer, and he gets Earl's salary. That would have fucking made a lot more goddamn sense. No?
I agree. And multiple times while explaining what was going on, Earl was saying he attempted to do things. Like, I attempted to do this, I attempted to do that. So a caller calls in and goes, hey, Ron, if you had a place kicker in the NFL who attempted to make a field goal every time, but never did, wouldn't you just cut him? Which is a great point. Ron right away goes, yeah, but let me ask you this. What if the kicker's the only black guy on your team? Are you cutting him then? So that may have had something to do with it. And even at that point, Ron goes to Earl and was like, can you imagine if O&A had a diversity on their staff when they would get into trouble? It'd look a lot harder to say they were doing something racist if they have Earl as their executive producer, and just they make that point. I think he even said something like it should look like a campus brochure over there. They got 80 people. Each one should represent a box. Like, it was very funny, but almost foreshadowing of what we are dealing with a little bit today.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Ron then goes, and this is a beautiful thing the Ron and Fez show does, which is if somebody's over the top and clearly like lying about whose fault something is or feeling too bold, they almost kind of reverse psychology them a little bit. So Ron goes, will you deal with the Dave situation today, Earl? And Earl says, we'll have a long talk after the show. And normally that's just enough. Like, I've heard him say that a couple of times, but then Ron goes, what does that mean?
Yeah, because it's rubbing me the wrong way right now as you say it. We'll have a long talk after the show. when you say that, you are saying somehow I fucked up. Again, Earl Douglas and only Earl Douglas fuck shit up. And specifically, when it comes to this Frank's Place shit, this was only Earl Douglas's fuck ups. Period. So if Ron's going to ask you to talk to Dave Earl, you'll go, I'm going to have a nice long talk with him after the show. So what? You're putting yourself in a position of power by that, saying that you're going to give me a talking to. For what? Again, you fucked it up.
Exactly.
Give me a nice long talk. How about this? You give me a nice long talk, and I'm going to shit in your mouth while you're talking. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to pull my pants down, pull out my buttocks, and defecate in your mouth. Give me a long talk. I'll give you a long talk, pal.
That sounds like a lot more than a long talk.
One day, let's just take a look at all of the things that I've contributed. It's just too many. Between characters and fucking plot points and discussions and shit like that. Come on, man.
Can you imagine Earl's Tales from the Satellite? Well, then, Rob, I went and took a nap.
Well, it would just be it would be a lot of, things were okay. No, everything's fine. Everything's fine. No controversy.
Mac's fault.
Today we're going to discuss the Earl Davey Mack controversy. There was no controversy.
No,
everything's
David
fine.
was just being crazy.
He would fucking no sell everything.
Another caller calls in and goes, "Isn't Earl Dave's?"
I'm glad we do these shows. Can people now see how much this fucking guy passed the buck on his ineptitude? He failed constantly at Sirius XM and then fucking passed the blame to me, the most productive person outside of Ron and Fez themselves, is what I'm saying. The most productive person on that fucking channel. Period.
Absolutely.
And yet he's constantly trying to fuck with me when he himself would fuck up his job. And people think and don't understand why sometimes I get fired up. That's why I get fired up. When I see someone who I'm so vastly superior to, and just fucking continue.
No, you're making the point a lot of callers did when Earl kept trying to throw you under the bus kindly, and Ron finally goes, no, I think this is I've done a lot of rough shit in my life, and I think this is me paying for it. I think this is karma. That's why I have to deal with Earl. And it was just, very funny. But when he says he'll have a talk with you, Ron goes, should we get rid of this wedding? What should we do? And Earl goes, no, I think we should keep it on for now. And then I'll have a talk with.
The day before the fucking wedding, for now.
Yeah. So then after the talk, Ron kind of presses Earl about the opening screw up and is like, what exactly went down there? He says he was doing stuff in the background while you were like, they need you. It's all Dave's fault. And here's the bottom line. All kidding aside, if I was your executive producer and you were a producer and my job was to get this studio ready, and I know well enough that if I do everything to my checklist, let's say I made one, it's going to work. I can go, hey, Dave, I got this. If there's a problem, I'll deal with it on air. Because I'm that confident that I know my build out's going to work, right? But the issue is he's not. So he's panicking, running around, jumping from, like a chicken with his head cut off from here to there, he doesn't know it's going to work. And you know what I mean? At the end of the day, it's a one-person job getting the studio set up. He doesn't need a whole team. He has a team to help.
Well, he wasn't organized. If you just got organized and got regimented, you wouldn't have these issues all the time.
Absolutely. Strange. And the biggest thing you said was, even if you get to the point where you know in your head what you're doing every day, if you don't have it for other people to see, if you're sick, if you need help, if there is an issue right before the show, no one else can do it because only you know that checklist.
I would have just done it for himself. Because without a checklist, the guy didn't do every step in the goddamn fucking setup. There was always something that was getting forgotten, always something that was falling through the cracks. So when there's always some kind of fucking issue, checklist. It's not that hard.
I couldn't agree with you more. This is where we get some of the background about the CD, because Fez really is like, what happened there? What went wrong? Earl tries to throw you under the bus a bit and was like, as Dave. And Dave, he finally just break and go, that's you and Effing Pepper. Like, those are the two people who handle the opening every day. I don't know what went wrong, Earl, because that's not my responsibility. You delegated me different tasks.
What
and it's just such a distinct point.
Is he like, is there like, he's really trying to get a fucking rise out of me.
And
I'll tell you, you motherfucker, I swear to fucking God, does that fucking guy count his fucking chickens? Count his chickens? No,
yeah,
wait.
That might be the Dayquil talking.
Does he? Yeah, I am still very fucked up, and everything is very confusing today. But I'm doing the best that I can do. Does he count his blessings? I've never seen, when we really look back on this, I've never seen someone so inept that continues to get a job, a decently paying job. He should be literally thanking Jesus and the Lord for absolutely fucking hitting some sort of lottery that he is undeserving of. All he does is lie and throw people under the bus. He acts irresponsible, and then he's got no code of honor when he's caught. Hey, newsflash. Earl Douglas is not necessarily a good guy. I think Earl's okay. I also think Earl Douglas is shady as fuck.
So you got that
and
name.
has a rat mentality.
Ooh.
His mentality is that of a rat. He's always there to preserve himself and survive. He fucks up everything, and then when the heat comes towards his way, he fucking blames everyone else. That to me seems like a really low-rent piece of shit human being, but yet we pretend that Earl Douglas is some good person. How about this? Maybe a spotlight. Maybe Earl Douglas as a human being isn't that great of a guy. I'll fucking say it. Maybe we have fucking pretended that Earl Douglas is something special, like, oh, he's great. And maybe because he is the black guy, we got to pretend that Earl Douglas is a good guy or this or that. I don't know. I don't know what the psychology is. But when you look at all this fucking shit that this guy has done, consistently fucking things up and then blaming people who have no responsibility in that thing that Earl fucked up. And then SiriusXM is listening to this. And then I can't get a fucking raise because they think that I'm a fuck up. Maybe this contributed.
That could
How
be
about
part
this?
of it.
Brand new theory. Earl Douglas, not necessarily a good person. Pass it on.
Damn.
Yeah. You wanted a Dayquil episode, and you got it.
I think you wanted a Dayquil episode. But
I didn't.
You're
I
echoing...
wanted an episode because unlike Earl Douglas, I care about people. And that includes the Patreons. And so I says to myself, I don't want to skip this week. We didn't do a Davey Max sports program. I also don't want to skip a Tales from the Satellite. We hadn't taken a Davey Max sports program off in months. We had worked all the way through July 4th, Labor Day, everything, every other fucking place. So I wanted to do an episode, but now, the Dayquil has fired me up with regards to Earl. I'm seeing things a lot differently. It's like adding up that Earl Douglas just really did fucking shit on me at SiriusXM. Didn't give a lot of love towards the Dave man. Dave and Pepper gave love towards each other. All the interns give love towards the Dave man. There's one fucking person who fucking really threw me under the bus time and time again. It was Earl Douglas. And now I'm starting to wonder if in real life it had an effect on my career.
I don't think it necessarily did or did not, but I think what it is evident of is instead of just like you could have made a feud that
What
wasn't
about the fact that
entertaining.
they never wanted to give me a substantial raise? That I was making $37,000 and they came back with, "We'll give you a raise, $38,500." Really? That's a raise? $1,500? That's not fucking shit. You goddamn cunts. You Sirius XM twats.
It's gonna make that loser leaves town match with Earl.
But what
tough,
I'm
Dave.
saying is, maybe some of this bullshit had an effect with Don Wicklin, or I'm not sorry, Rob Cross and Steve Blatter. Maybe some of this shit had an effect. That it was always, it must be Crazy Dave. Crazy Dave's fault. Crazy Dave. Look, Crazy Dave, I get fired up. I know what the fuck it is I'm doing. I've never been crazy, though. Okay? I get fucking fired up and passionate about this shit. Okay? But as far as intelligence goes, I am head and shoulders above Earl Douglas. He's a stupid man. Dumb.
Well, one of the callers feels that way because to answer Ron's whole thing about the black guy, he points out Lily's Muslim. So couldn't we replace Earl with Lily? And Ron offers that option to Earl and goes, "Would you be willing to step down and let Lily take your spot?" And Earl says no. And then he goes, "What about Lily for Dave?" To which Earl still goes no. So he did have your back a little bit, but the minute he brings Pepper up, Earl goes, "Yes, right away. I would absolutely substitute Pepper for Dave right away." At which point Ron says, "Why are you waiting?
What do you mean
Like fire you and replace you with Pepper, who was an intern at the time." They were offering that as this was his second semester, so he was kind of the head of the interns. He had already led his revolution at this point. Things were, you know what I mean? Like, so it was clear he could do the job, but Earl says he would have you replaced with Pepper in a heartbeat. And to which Ron kind of puts him on the spot and goes, "Why wait? Go write an email to Wicklund right now. Tell him that's what you want to do. Why wait for something to happen?" And, you know, things have come to a head today. And then Fez uses the words, "Why don't you put some paperwork in, Earl?" and really gets the ball rolling on the email.
Wow.
Now, before we get into how it affected you, this is the technique I love by Ron and Fez, because they're not trying to make you look like an idiot by doing this. They're trying to make the fact that you asked a question 5 minutes before the episode and highlight that this is what Earl thinks is a fire-worthy offense. Like, it's them kind of making him, he's talked a little shit. Now they're making him actually stand behind the shit he talked. And I love when they do that. One of the best examples I could think of is when they got Al Dukes drunk and had him discuss all the staff he worked with at WNEW and then write a letter to his boss and slide it under the door.
I remember that very, very well. That was a good one. No, that's good. It's just that, like, I mean, what Ron Fez is doing is hysterical. What Earl Douglas, is doing is, I gotta tell you, this episode to me is showcasing Earl Douglas as a low rent fucking. I don't know. I'm not feeling great about this one. Yeah, like he's trying. Is he fucking with me?
I don't know how much he is fucking with you, or he's just happy that it feels like Ron and Fez have his back for a minute. Like that would, if I was Earl,
No.
right away.
I'm talking about this whole fucking. I'm going to replace him with Pepper, or I'm going to write a letter to somebody.
So Ron and Fez are the ones who made him write the email. Like they would not let him off the hook with that. And I think the point was to showcase Earl how dumb he's being. Like put into, maybe if he writes down what he's trying to argue with Dave about, he'll realize how silly this whole situation is. Does that make any sense? Like,
I guess
even when Earl leaves the room to write the email, Ron goes, "I'm going to teach Earl a lesson by getting Dave fired today." Like making the joke, like this isn't going to happen. And I think,
how many bits have we done on this show where we've had, me and Fez doing characters or different moments, or me doing phone calls and stuff like that? Earl Douglas never brings anything to the table except for this type of shit.
No.
How about that? How about that for one reason of why he can't hold a candle to me? He doesn't bring anything positive to a show.
No,
he doesn't. He does not bring anything positive to his show. He's not an interesting person. He can't talk well on the radio. He's very wishy-washy and indecisive. He doesn't have strong opinions of his own and just kind of follows Ron. The only time something of substance happens with Earl is when I'm involved. And it's when he's shitting all over me. And why I'm a little bit ticked off right now is, yes, the Dayquil. And it's because who's to say that some of this shit didn't play a part and why these fucking assholes at SiriusXM didn't give me a raise? Who's to say that if he said something to one of these fucking guys, it was that's why I got looked at as the crazy person? See, some of this shit might have affected me in real life. That's what I'm saying. For someone who is a billion times more talented, just nuts and bolts, a billion times more talented than Earl Douglas. I am. That's a fucking fact. You know it, and I know it. Everyone listening to this show knows it.
Everybody listening to this show, everybody who listened to the original show, and anyone who kind of knows radio. And we're going to give our Patreons...
You know what? Fuck it. This was all a fun little fucking thing. But seriously, Earl, fuck you.
And on that note, we're going to provide the evidence to the audience right now. We'll be back after this clip from the Ron and Fez Show.
1027 WNEW, New York. Ron and Fez. Frequency 1027 WNEW.
Hey, Brian, you're on Ron and Fez. Hey, Brian.
Hey guys, what's going on? I think you guys are getting a little bit too hard on Al.
Yeah.
You said that he committed career suicide. I think it's more career homicide. You knew what you were doing. You had a couple drinks in him.
We did it to him. Oh yes, of course we did.
Oh
it to
yeah,
him.
sure.
But he has to be able to take care of himself.
Yeah, we're the ones that rolled the tape. Sure.
Am I my brother's keeper? Yes, Fez. Nobody else.
You asked him the question.
Right.
You forced him into that situation. Poor Al.
All right, hold on. Well, I could ask Fez right now and say bad stuff about other shows.
No.
See? You can't make somebody do it.
Won't do it.
We should run through as he talk about all the shows, Fez. I don't think we've ever played those.
Oh, okay.
Al Duke's drunk talking about each show that's on the air here.
Some people just can't handle their alcohol.
Yeah, well, we found one of them. All right, here we go.
All right. Here we go.
Al Duke's drunk on Friday with us after the show, and we interviewed him.
Al, I'm going to go through the lineup of the WNEW shows.
This week? Changes weekly.
What's that, Al?
I'm not sure. They don't seem to give a show a chance here.
I'm going to name a show. You have 3 words.
Great.
To describe each show.
I'm ready to roll.
The Sports Guys.
Great staff and friendly.
Describe the show itself.
Tired topics.
Oh. Say that again?
I produced the Fabulous Sports Babe show for a couple of months there. Numerous months, and they seem to be generic topics.
I see. So they're tired topics.
Tired.
Unfunny?
Sometimes funny, most of the time boring.
Wow. Al, that's just wrong. All right, let's continue. Al's description of each show on WNEW.
The Radio Chick.
The Radio Chick. Great topics, just not done in the right way. Could use a little tweaking.
I don't even know what that means.
I think he thinks she could use him.
Oh, okay. If she had the Al Duke's magic. Ron and Fez.
That's a show I like.
Good.
Those topics are done in the right way. Oftentimes, though, the Radio Chick will do a topic that we like, just not done the right way, and ruins it for us.
God. Stupid.
Get off of that. All right, let's check out the next show. Opie and Anthony.
Very laid back. Love the show.
Nice. Finally something nice about Opie. Don and Mike.
Don and Mike I like, even though a lot of people don't like it. I like the casual, not kind of a radio approach to things.
Not a radio approach? What in the world?
That is a backhanded compliment if I ever heard one. Al Dukes also wrote some stuff about the boss that was put under the boss's door.
Right. And Al actually tried to get it back with a yardstick.
Did you have a yardstick down there?
All I had was a ruler, which wasn't long enough.
To try to slide that under the door and retrieve the note that he had written. Very disparaging remark.
What a bad sitcom when the guy has a ruler. Mr. Colby, can I get this?
Then tries to head it off at the pass by writing another letter, an email to Jeremy, saying you will find a letter under your door. Well, he's still drunk. He's writing another letter. This one an email.
Hey, Rob. Rob, you're on Run Fest.
Hey, Rob.
I want to say, this stuff is radio gold. I've listened to you guys since you came on the afternoon. This is probably one of the best shows I've heard so far. And on top of that, you should send Al Dukes to everybody else's show on WNEW.
Maybe that's what you need to do. But I'd rather we talk to them here.
Right.
I thought we tried to talk to Blaine. We talked to Anthony. He felt good about you acting like he had a big, thick one.
Right.
Yeah, that was pretty good. I definitely dug it, but I just wanted to say, this stuff was awesome today.
All right.
Thanks a lot.
Oh, man. Yeah, Blaine tried to call in. We didn't get to him before the break, and then he hung up the cell phone.
All right, let's go over all the people you need to apologize to. And would you? Would you apologize to Opie?
I would love to. He would be on the top of my list.
All right, would you apologize to Blaine?
Yes.
All right, would you apologize to Don and Mike?
No, I don't really know them too well. I don't really think I offended them.
All right, let's go back. Let me find this one. I wish we had Rory down here.
Yeah, we may need Rory back down here.
Because it's the one where, let's see whether you owe Don and Mike an apology.
Okay.
And I do believe you do. All right, let's keep going through some of these. Would you apologize to Rick Delgado?
Yes, definitely, because I do a similar job, and he deserves an apology.
You say he does nothing.
Right, but I know that's not true.
All right, would you apologize to Matt Devote for calling him a whore?
That was probably a strong term, but I don't know that he would need an apology for it.
How about Eddie Trunk for telling him that Meadow's over to move on?
Oh, that hurt.
Yes, I will apologize to Eddie Trunk.
All right, now you got the harsh Don and Mike on this, because he doesn't think he owes them an apology. Here's what drunken Al Duke said about Don and Mike.
Don and Mike.
Boring. No one knows who Frida is. I've heard the show for many years. I still don't know who Frida. I'm not sure who Don or Mike is, to be honest with you.
Now, why would you not think that you owe them an apology for that?
You don't think that condones an apology?
Yeah, on second hearing it again, I'll put down Don and Mike.
What about Eric from Sales, who you didn't say anything bad about, but just made feel really uncomfortable today?
Yes, if I made him feel uncomfortable, he will get an apology.
You think so?
I don't think he was uncomfortable with it.
Oh, you're going to try and kiss him?
Let's go over Al's life with Eric as number 72.
72? All right. There we go. All right, we'll get that loaded. Thank you, Rory. Here's Al and Eric from Sales. Eric.
Eric's a nice guy, makes a good living. He seems to have the key accounts on the station.
He'd take care of you.
Absolutely. Nice home, probably.
Would you make a nice home for Eric?
I'm not gay again, but Eric's a nice guy. I'll go with Eric.
If you were with Eric, would you be on the top or bottom?
I'm more of a laid-back guy. I'm not an aggressor type.
So in your butt?
I'm not a big fan of the butt either, so probably not.
Orally?
Not from a guy.
Would you spit or swallow if you had to?
If I had to.
Right.
Spitter.
Like if the Nazis were going to cut your cable.
If they were going to cut my cable off. Spitter.
He loves his cable, right?
Without HBO.
Loves cable TV. All right, now here's the thing. You talk about Eric providing a nice home. It makes it sound like you've already followed Eric home at some point and knew that he had a nice home. Like you stalked him.
No, I see what accounts he has, and I would know that would equal better money.
So you don't think that you're just going to have a one-nighter with him? It'll be a lifetime. Life partners, if you will.
Well, I'm not gay again, but...
Do you think that deserves an apology?
Yes.
Write that name down.
So you got quite a few people to apologize to.
Opie and Rick first.
Why? Because you fear them?
Yes, I do.
It has nothing to do with what you've done to them, but you just fear Opie.
Out of the list, yes, I do.
I haven't heard you say anything about apologizing to Jeremy or Craig Schwab, who got called a pushover.
Yes, those guys also. Jeremy and Craig.
Jim Boella and Scott Colombo got accused of having a relationship.
Right, I'll put them on the list also.
How about Melissa? Who you said wears makeup like a whore?
I don't see her a lot, but when I don't even know if she knows who I am, but...
You called her a bar girl.
I'll apologize.
How about the 5 guys you said you'd have sex with? Eric, Ben, Craig Schwab, Gary, and Punchy.
Yes, I will apologize to them also.
I would love to line those 5 guys up. There's like nothing even in common with those guys. You like a variety.
Yeah, he does. Hey, Bobby. Bobby, you're on Manifest.
Yeah, what's going on, guys?
Hey, Bobby, what can we do for you?
Al Duke, you're from Woodbridge, right?
Yes, I am.
Move. You're a big disgrace to this town. I'm from Carteret, right? I would be embarrassed to say that I'm from Woodbridge. Just the way that you're talking and acting, you are the biggest fag.
You're lucky he didn't say this Friday. He'd call you
Hey,
out.
I got another thing for you. Hey, are you sure you guys didn't hire Spaz from O&A?
He's calling you half a retard now.
Oh.
He's calling you half a retard, Al.
That's not right.
Stand up for yourself.
It was the drinking that did all the talking into the microphones on Friday.
Now, we know he's proud of Woodbridge, does he? Because we asked him to drink a beer for Woodbridge. Do we have that, Rory?
Oh, okay. Woodbridge is hometown in Jersey. Rory's going to find that one for us.
I think it's 5. You know, even when you drink, you're still not loose. We're still overly tense. Yeah, this is way too tense.
I thought
Finish that Sam Adams.
All right.
All the way. Chug it like a man. Woodbridge. Do it for Woodbridge. That's a 6.
I'm doing it for Woodbridge. Hold on. More specifically, Colonia, New Jersey. Part of Woodbridge.
More specifically, Colonia. He's run with the Colonia MFers. That's a badass gang.
So there's Ronnie telling him to chug one for Woodbridge, and you hear the tiny, tiny sips that are being taken. That's what you think of Woodbridge, and more specifically, Colonia. You ought to be ashamed of yourself,
Specifically, give out what block you live on.
Colonia is specific enough.
Hey, Jim, you're on Ron Fest.
Hey, Jim.
Sneaky and nice guy. How you doing today?
We're okay.
Good.
I was just wondering his thoughts on Loveline. Do you like that show at all?
Yeah, we never got into the late night cinema program.
Would you like to have a drink and talk about love lines, Al?
No, thank you.
All right. Remember, Cocky and Friendly coming up next on WNEW.
Hey, Al, you're on Manifest.
Hey, Al.
Yeah, this is Big Al from Brooklyn.
Hey, Big Al.
Go ahead, buddy.
How you doing? Listen, if this guy's inhibitions go out the door on 2 or 3 beers, what do you think would happen if you chopped up a couple of lines for him and made him snort? What do you think would happen then?
You ever snort any coke, Al?
No, I haven't.
You want to do that on Friday?
No, I don't do drugs.
Yeah. I bet if you make him do a couple of lines and then a little bit of amyl nitrate and bring Eric in the room, it'll be romance at first sight.
You want Eric in a popper?
No.
What if you snorted 2 lines off Eric's naked ass? Would you do that?
No, I wouldn't.
Really?
No, I don't do drugs at all.
Do you think you would have Friday?
No. I would have been able to draw the line.
No, you wouldn't. Yeah, cross his belly.
Right down his crack.
Hey, Rob, you're on Run the Fuzz.
Yeah,
Hey, Rob.
Hey, how are you?
Yeah.
I just wanted to know what he was going to apologize for to Eric, for not swallowing. And also, why didn't you guys bring in Gay Marco? He's a half a six-pack away from being a fag.
All right, thanks.
Do you think if Eric had been here on Friday, you would have made your move?
Yeah, I think so.
No.
I do. I think 100%.
Oh, by the way, we should mention this, that before we made it down to the production room, we've got posters and things up in our office. We went with a...
Oh, I forgot that.
This is kind of stupid to say out loud, but we kind of went with a Justice League motif for a while, because we got the posters, we thought they were cool, we put them up. Al was making out with the Aquaman poster.
We kept saying, now kiss the Flash. And he would.
And then he kissed the Flash, you kissed Aquaman, he kissed a picture of Al Sharpton that was down there.
I felt like I was in 7th grade again, getting drunk.
There was a picture of Sid Rosenberg that got made out with. I forgot about that part of the afternoon.
He would not kiss Al Sharpton's picture, though. We have Al Sharpton sitting there inside a big bucket of soup.
877-692-1027.
Ron and Fez.
Ron and Fez. 1027 WNEW.
Left you with the Ron and Fez show, giving Earl 15 minutes to write an email about why Dave should be fired.
Ay, ay, ay. Boy, I mean, this episode is very fired up.
Intense.
Maybe the Dayquil is kicking in extra, and the other assortment of drugs that are going on right now. So if I've said that Earl is a bad human being, I'll rescind that. I'll rescind that Earl Douglas is a bad person. Now, does he have bad person qualities? Yes, he does. He's dishonest, and he's not a man. He throws, the second shit comes his way, he'll throw any single person under the bus. That's not an upstanding man. That really isn't. And one thing can be said about me, I got into a lot of trouble in my time in every job, okay? Not just at Sirius XM. And I always take the heat 100% full on. And I'm always honest about it. So I'm not saying that Earl is a bad guy. I want to make that clear. That was the Dayquil talking.
Okay, I'm glad to hear that. I was a little worried that, a 20-year-long friend acquaintanceship might have been ruined by a little Dayquil.
Yeah, I mean, you got a friendship. I mean, the guy, he doesn't reach out to me ever. I invited him up when we were doing the shit on Compound. I invited him to the show. Nothing. Bupkis. Zilch.
Yeah, he did.
No, I mean, friend. No,
yeah.
No, we're not friends. I always wanted that because I'm a friendly guy who has friends. So I want to say that Earl Douglas, not a bad guy, not a low rent piece of shit. Sadly, he has low rent piece of shit attributes in his personality that, if he did away with, then you'd be looking at a really great guy, probably a really great employee. But until that, those really shitty low rent attributes,
a little tough.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough sometimes for the Earl Douglas, the good guy, to overcome that. That's all I'm saying. It's tough when, to be a good person, you should act good, in my opinion, or have good attributes like the ability to take responsibility, or the ability to be truthful, or when you see someone who is beneath you and all they've done is dramatically help the show and you from day one, maybe recognize that a little bit. Be a little thankful for that. Because guess what? If there was no Eastside Dave on the fucking show, it'd probably be 2 hours of putting the boots to Earl Mondays through Fridays. You understand? And
absolutely.
Deservedly so. Because that's how many times he fucks up. Hey, nobody's perfect. I don't fuck up as much as Earl, but I do fuck up. The point is, though, Earl fucks up on a daily basis. He probably would have gotten called out every fucking day. If once there was an Eastside Dave component to the Ron Fez show, some of that fucking, some of that shit, some of the heat comes my way. You'd think he'd be thankful for that. Huh?
And did you ever at the time suggest you and Earl should flip roles?
No, it was just an idea that I just had right now.
Because it's funny. The guy he wants to replace you with led an intern revolution against him because he was so bad at his job. He was like, as an intern, I can do this better than you. The guy who's been with him for 2 years, like you said, taking partial blame, putting his stuff out there so it wasn't Earl under a microscope. Nope, that's not the guy he wants to ride with. Not Pitsy. Not Pitsy, who he went to the mat to get hired over Lily. No, not him. He wants Pepper, the guy who turned his back on him. And ironically, they work together today. He kind of got what he wanted.
He got what he wanted. God bless him. That fucking, like I said, Earl's not a bad guy. But what I will say is this: that lucky sack of shit shouldn't stop thanking Jesus for getting one fucking lucky break after another, because he's a talentless hack who fucking will throw his goddamn own grandmother under the goddamn fucking bus if it means a little bit of trouble don't come his way.
I mean, I think you can.
Earl, are you blaming the fact that the 360 machines don't work on me, honey? You know I'm dead, Earl. How? Earl, honey, that's really low rent. Maybe Davey is right about you. Earl, can you come down here to hell and turn down the thermostat, honey? It's a little bit warm down here. Me and Pol Pot are trying to fuck. But I don't like that Pol Pot sweat, Earl Dougie, honey, baby. Earl.
That was it.
That's good. I can't imagine why he might want to get you fired. But he does. And like we said, like I did many
no concept of wrestling, huh? Or the Ron and Fez show, for that matter. He just had no concept of that. He knew what the Ron and Fez show was, and so did I. And we both know what wrestling is. He didn't understand that we could have, like, that, dude, we could have been fucking Hulk Hogan, Roddy Piper.
Yeah.
I mean, we were, but it could have existed forever if he just fucking said, hey,
you know what, Sirius XM, Dave probably should get a little bit of a raise, since, he does everything that I'm supposed to do.
Yeah. You just said when Jim and Sam need somebody to talk to, who do they go to? Their producers. What did Earl bring to the table whenever they went to him? Nothing, unless if he was having a meltdown. That alone right there, like, is a facet of the job.
Nervous fucking fingers hitting the goddamn microphone button, sipping ginger ale, not knowing what to fucking say.
No,
panicking,
of course not.
Panicky Pete. That's Earl Douglas right there for you. He's a panicky Pete type of guy, just in case anyone knows. We always assume the black guy is nice and smooth and chill. Not this one. This is the non-smoothest, non-chillest fucking black dude you'll ever meet in your entire life. Fucking Woody Allen with black skin.
Absolutely. And that point's going to be sentient, because a panicky Pete is Ron, who's worried that if he gets you fired, he's now going to have to deal with the political action committee. Do you remember this era of the political action committee?
The People Against Censorship, the PAC, PAC.
PAC. I thought it was political action committee.
Political action committee.
That was kind of a joke. That's what it stands for in politics.
Oh. You can't tell jokes to a Dayquil person. You got to spell them out really well. You got to spell out.
And if you do, you should not do it monotone like you're a producer, Jim and Sam.
But also the people listening have no idea. I always tell you got to give. You're bad with setup sometimes. You go straight for a punchline, but no one knows what you're talking about. You left out that the PAC was People Against Censorship.
So People Against Censorship, and that was
what was that again? That was because everyone was getting fired or some shit.
Yeah, for whatever they said, they're like, we have free speech. I think Deb headed up Happy Typing Girl, and she actually at one point went on one of the late night shows to talk about.
Oh right,
everything. This had just happened. Yeah. So
man, where's that committee? That committee needs to be out and about right now. Because, like I said, I feel like we're getting close to the end of all of this politically correct bullshit. I really do. I think we're going to be going into a 90s phase again, but it's going to make the 90s seem like the 50s. Anytime you go back into, we're going to go crazy, and it's even raunchier and more insane, more
I don't
controversial than the time before. So Get ready for some fun.
And speaking of the change, your people, the Irish people, just got rid of the law for hate crimes. Like there's no hate speech laws in Ireland anymore. So you're seeing the tides are turning.
They got rid of those?
Yeah, like you can't. It's not an additional crime because you said something when you beat somebody up. You just
Oh,
beat them up.
wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I thought that they were looking to install hate speech crimes in Ireland.
That's in Britain.
Oh,
Got rejected
right.
in Britain. They've connected it to online, so it's all good. Sorry, I think we're caught up now. There was a little lag there.
All right. Very good. Let's go.
Speaking of the Political Action Committee, guess what they do? They call in and they're like, Deb says, "Do I need to do another Save Dave campaign? Like, do we need to rally the troops? Do we need?" And Ron goes, "That's not a bad point. Last time we were saving Dave, I got to see a lot of topless women. Perhaps if some topless women come out, or hell, bottomless women. And God rest her soul, the only person who obliged, Frenchie."
That is true. That one Save Dave campaign. There should have been no reason why there were so many Save Dave campaigns. I should have been someone from Sirius XM in a position of power. Should have just seen, wow, this guy brings a lot to the show. Like that's, I mean, I gotta say, looking back on it retrospectively, like that was always my frustration. Is like, can someone not see what all the fucking look at the thousands of hours now we're just doing with this fucking series.
10,000, I'd say, because we're getting damn good. Fastest rising podcast.
A lot of it's because of Earl. It's because it's like he won't just, he was very weak when it came to me. He just would never stand up for the Dave man.
Sometimes you can be the opposite direction, too loyal, where you're always standing up for the Dave man. And that's the guy I'd rather have by my side. Just throwing that out there. I don't know if I'm speaking about anybody in particular, but that guy's the man. Speaking of people who ripped you off, the other night I was watching the Late Night Show or the Tonight Show. Which one does Fallon do?
Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon, yeah.
So he was trying to weasel his way in. He knew he would never be Time's sexiest person of the year. So he was trying to be Time's sexiest late night show host at a certain time on a certain channel. And I was like, this is he another known fan of the O&A Ron and Fez universe doing a Davey Mac bit.
Well, I'm not sure I see the connection there.
Yaddle Channel, the fastest growing Star Wars podcast about
yeah. I have
like
every single Yaddle channel I would start up with. We're the fastest rising Star Wars podcast that we're currently ranked 1,222. Okay.
Just the extra clarifications to make you the winner. I just felt like you. But
Fair
we're not
enough.
talking about Jimmy Fallon. We're talking about Deb, who calls in to try to save you. Ron says it's kind of out of his hands. It's going to be above him. He does at this point out that he is going to get you fired to make a point to Earl, to teach Earl a lesson, which is funny as a listener. If it's my potential job in jeopardy the day before I'm getting married, I don't know if I feel quite so humorous about it. I'd probably be a little frustrated. What was your mindset?
Yeah. I mean, that was a little bit, worrisome that they might actually do that. That could actually happen. Or
Absolutely.
What if the fucking guy? What if the email isn't taken that well? And the guy's like, look, I don't care if you're doing this for a bit or not a bit. You're wasting my time. I'm firing this fucking guy because the two of you can't get along or blah, blah, blah. Like there's so many fucked up aspects about this. This is a fucked up thing to do. I want everyone to understand your little saint fucking Earl Douglas is trying to get me fired the day before I'm getting married for literally no reason whatsoever because he fucked up the intro and he fucked up the 360 machines. So because of his fuck ups, he needs to pass the buck. He's the ultimate, whatever fucking president, the buck stops here. God damn. Earl Douglas is the exact opposite. Keep passing that buck.
I thought that was the Red Sox.
Huh?
I thought that was the Red Sox that came up with that slogan. The Bucky stops here.
I don't get the joke.
Bucky fucking Dent. He didn't stop. He hit the home run to beat him.
The buck stops here.
I know. I'm just trying to make a joke, buddy. Keep it a little light.
Okay, fine. Fair enough.
You know me. I'm just always trying to be humorous.
But so there is some, I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy.
I
Do
like the.
people look at Earl as like a good person these days? Would you know? What do you
I
think
wouldn't
people's
know.
opinion is of Earl? Is he someone that people go, "Oh, that Earl, he's great"?
I don't want to throw anybody under the bus, so I'm not going to use any names, but I'm just
No,
going to use a metaphor.
I'm saying this is a consensus of the people. What do you? I'm asking. Since
I don't think
probably
they
know.
feel that way. I don't think they feel that way, but here's why. I think sometimes, like, when you have a fat friend that you take pictures with so you look skinnier,
Huh?
I think Earl may be overshadowed at times. Like, I don't think he's put under the spotlight as much as the other people used to back in the day, particularly like when it was the Ron and Fez show. That was like one of the things they would do. Now I think he's just a background character. Like, he's blocked out by the show.
Oh, he doesn't contribute a lot on the air?
He does, but it's more like a participation in the discussion rather than discussing his lack of participation as it was during the Ron and Fez days. So,
Fucking
guy
hit the lottery. What a fucking lucky cunt. What a lucky cunt you are, Earl Douglas. I'm being dead serious. Undeserving.
I do love the idea of Saint Earl Douglas. Hi, Dave. I'm the patron saint of lazy bums.
Well, but it's just, it's annoying.
It is. So, like I said, Deb calls in as the, PAC to defend you. And Ron asks her, for once, could you defend the black side? To which she hilariously responds, which is the black side? Which I just thought was brilliant. And Ron was like, obviously Earl, Dave's white as snow. And she was like, yeah, but like,
no, I'm blacker than Earl.
Yeah.
Straight up. Anyone who's listened to Ron and Fez and Bennington knows that. I'm blacker than Earl. I got way more street sense. I got way more street smarts, and I've been around and I've had more experiences than Earl Douglas. Earl Douglas is I mean, my God. Earl Douglas outside of the Black Rock Coalition, I mean, come on, man. I'm just saying.
No, I agree with you more. He has that, but it's not even about that. It's at this point, like, you didn't do anything wrong. Like, you really.
I mean, I have done nothing here.
And I do think it is Ron kind of riling up Earl a little bit to get him to be over the top. Like, let's be honest, at this point in the radio career between you and Earl, there was tension. Like, it may not have been both sides, but for some reason, you were always a thorn in Earl's side, in Earl's opinion. Now, part of that may have been stuff on air, but even off air, like this, he has to find a scapegoat. He can't find one. So who does he point the blame to instantly? It's you. And I think part of what Ron's doing, like when he said he's going to teach Earl a lesson, it's going to be the boy who cried wolf, is highlight the fact of how ridiculous this is on Earl's part. Everything you've been saying so far, like I think Ron and Fez were trying to show Earl without just smacking him over the head with it, because clearly that wasn't working. So, like, the idea of getting him to be like,
yeah, but
Dave
Earl's
said,
stupid to understand this fucking lesson. Like, he's not, it doesn't sound like he was understanding what they were trying to teach him. And as a result, he's going to send off an email to our boss that I should be fired. This isn't a joke to me. This is my fucking life. And it probably did affect my reputation at SiriusXM, some of this bullshit. Right. So to the point where when a grown man who's a professional performer and entertainer and radio guy knows, okay, it's time for me to get a raise now. I need to be making more than $37,000 because I did need to be making more because I was worth it. I'm way more valuable to that company and that show than $37,000. But you can't have a professional fucking conversation with these fucking dorks, the Crosses and Bladders, probably because of these fucking emails and shit. That's what I'm saying. These little fucking jokes about Earl, fucking doing this. Yeah, but who's to say that didn't fucking actually cost me in some ways?
Well, and to take it a step,
you can't expect someone like a Rob Cross or a Steve Blatter, two total non-creatives. You can't expect them to be in on the bid. You can't expect them to be like, this is radio, this is Ron and Fez, this is what they do, they go after it. You can't expect that. Instead, they're just two straight-laced fucking dweebs who are getting a professional email on their computer that I'm some fucking crazy person who needs to get fired.
Especially when the email is coming from a non-creative. Like I was going to say, I think part of the problem is Earl's the only guy who didn't have an on-air personality versus an off-air. Like Eastside Dave on the show versus Dave McDonald. It's an amplified version of yourself. Whereas Earl, it was just Earl at all times. So if you're those guys and you do follow along to with the Ron and Fez show, and you know what's going on, they get an email from Earl. They go, this is real. Earl doesn't do works. He doesn't do bits. You know what I mean? It's only going to hurt.
Yeah, but my point just basically is that these guys, they're pros. Like Blatter and Cross are running other channels, okay? So if they they're not necessarily listening to Ron and Fez 24/7. In fact, I know for a fact that Steve Blatter, one of the things that made him bad about his job is that he didn't listen to Ron and Fez a lot, honestly. And I know this because when he would say, like, he would always bring you in and you'd have a review and what are you doing these days, blah, blah, blah. And I would say this, and this. He would look at me, RCA dog, you know, head tilted, had no idea what I was talking about. And I would be like, did you hear yesterday's show? Oh, no, I wasn't able to catch it, but I'm going to blah, blah. Oh, yeah, right. Did you hear the one the day before it? No, it's been really busy. They weren't listening. So, in other words, when you send them an email, they're not in on any of this shit.
That's
so
exactly my
there is a chance
point.
that it could have actually harmed me as I became the crazy guy rather than the fucking creative guy who is energetic and has ideas and fucking thoughts and storylines and characters and all this shit.
Yeah. And I think it's going to fire you up even more. And we're going to take a break right after when I tell you that Earl clearly didn't get the bit because not only did he send the email to Don Wickland, he CC'd it to Wiki's boss, Elo. And on that note, we're going to let you guys listen to this, and we'll be back with the quotes from Earl's email. We'll see you in a few.
Earl, do you have your letter?
Yes, I do.
And will this be sent out?
Yes, it will.
Have you sent it yet?
No, I haven't because I just wanted to make sure I was cool with you guys.
Mm-hmm.
As I always do, I check everything with you.
All right, here we go. Don, I would like to recommend that we replace David McDonald with Pepper Hicks, effective immediately. Since coming aboard as an intern, Pepper has brought a great passion and energy to the show. He's constantly coming in with ideas that have worked for the show on and off the air. I don't need ideas off the air, so I would probably correct at one point. As a matter of fact, he's decided that Ron should make some changes at home.
Sounds like he has lunch ideas.
And he's willing to give us his time, no matter how long, to any project. Dave has been terrific on air, but has lacked the administrative skills that are needed to make the show go to the next level. If you'd like to discuss this at length, please feel free to call me Love Earl. Let me just point this out, Earl. You never want to write Love Earl in a business email. All right, Fez, you got any problems with this?
Well, I think one problem is when you're trying to get rid of somebody, why call them terrific at one point during the email?
Well, he's being honest. He said he's terrific on air.
Yeah.
You know, as a character, personally, I think he's derailed the show with Wedding Talk. Derailed the show with Wedding Talk. And you know where I got that?
Where?
Milkman Dan, he IM'd me the other night, I believe drunk, to let me know that we've lost the hardcore whack bag people.
No, I just thought it was a very short to the point. I mean, I didn't want to...
Although he's good at one part of his job, he's not able to do the full job.
Yeah, because I didn't want to make it look like, I'm being vindictive or just, making it really personal.
Right.
I'm being being professional.
You know what I love, too? You never use the term whitey at any point. I think if you would have said cracker or whitey, this would have made it look like it was personal.
Yeah, that would have taken that letter into a different direction.
My dearest Don, as summer rolls across the country, I find myself writing you in the dearest of straits. Pepper, this okay with you? Can you hear us, Pepper? Because we got people in the other room, and we really don't even know.
Yeah, I guess that's fine.
Yeah.
But I also would like him to use my real name and not Pepper Hicks.
This is your real name now, son.
Oh, okay.
The odd thing is the guy, and I hate your name, by the way, but you got the name by the guy who's getting fired so you can have his job.
This is great. I love it.
And Pepper is your guy, not Lily? Lily, who's been here longer? Lily hasn't done shit, has she?
She was a great help with the Big Ass Bash.
Yeah.
But, Pepper has just been on fire.
Why don't you write in that you would have chose Lily, but in your view, she's a cock tease.
I don't think that would have gone over very well.
All right, I got a problem right now already. The PAC is calling the show. Everybody be very careful around this. Hello, Deb.
Hello.
Yes.
I was wondering,
First of all,
am I gonna
sup.
start up a new Save Dave campaign again?
The last time that happened, I got to see some topless women, which I like very much. Yeah, maybe if FBA would just roll out a bunch of topless women, or bottomless, maybe then I'd be willing to go over Earl's head on this. I don't know.
I gotta wonder though, Earl's not really using very good team building techniques here. If he doesn't get his way, where does it leave the team?
Yeah, if you don't succeed, your team is in shambles, Earl.
Well, I look at it as, you know what, if you can't...
You don't feel like this is knee-jerk? Just to protect yourself for when you were getting in trouble at the start of the show?
No, I'm just explaining what happened. I'm just explaining the situation. I'm trying to make the situation better, and I kept getting cut off at the knees.
How can they work together after this?
But HCG, for once, can't you back up the black point of view? Just once, can't the PAC get behind black people?
Where's the black point of view?
Earl.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
And why don't you get rid of Dave?
Who couldn't be further than black than snow.
That's why I was confused.
Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. For once, let's see the PAC get behind Earl.
Well, I can't get behind Earl if he's trying to fire Dave.
Yeah. I see.
I think you got a knee-jerk reaction here. Earl,
why don't you do
really
this?
got to be careful.
Why don't you and Pat from Monarchy run over a couple XM radios and we'll panic and we'll drop this thing.
That should settle it.
All right?
Maybe there's something else we can run over.
You know what? I would do this. Get that FBA skin coming my way. And maybe then, I'll start and change my mind. I don't know what else to do. I do not know what else to do.
All right, well, we'll have the Save Dave campaign up and running this afternoon.
I'm worried the writer's going to end up marrying Casey, and I think that's going to make everything look bad at the wedding.
Yeah, I don't want to see that happen.
And I don't want to see Dave go walking out of here with his hurricane lamps.
I think you need E-Rock to come in.
Oh, E-Rock would never be able to fit in this room. We are snug right here now. Earl just walked in, and we're literally penis to penis in this room. It's tummy sticks. All right, honey.
That's bye.
All right, bye-bye. All right, you ready to hit send on this?
Yeah, if it's cool with you guys, I'll hit the send.
Oh, it's more than cool with me. I want to be there for, later to hear the phone call that you get.
Oof. That's always always an interesting conversation.
I don't even know what Pepper Hicks's real name is. Do you?
Yeah, I do.
Write it down for me.
I don't.
You haven't met the interns yet, Fez.
No. I can guess what he looks like.
By the way, Nico's real name? Douglas Fairbanks IV.
Really?
Yeah.
Why change to Nico?
This sounds like a bass player. That's not a name. That's a 1980s bass player.
Yeah, Pepper Hicks has just a beautiful ring to it.
Pepper Hicks is the dumbest name in the world. This guy, he gave up a show business name. Should I say what it is?
Sure.
Give it out.
Yeah, you can say it.
Pepper Hicks' real name is Todd Hillier.
What?
Which, to me, works perfectly for the air.
I can see why he changed it now.
Too gay?
Too stupid.
No, I'm asking you.
Oh.
You too gay? Here is, let me go to Aaron. Hammer and Hank, you're on the Ron and Fez show. How are you, buddy?
Hey, Aaron, what's up?
Yeah.
Man, hey, Ron, what's up?
Yeah.
Hey, I just want to say you got some fucking nerve trying to get rid of Dave after he's fucking stood by Ron and Fez and after the fucking travesty you created for the last month. You need to fucking die, Earl.
Do you have to work blue, Aaron?
What's that?
Do you have to work blue? Can you express yourself without profanity?
Oh, sorry about that, Ron.
All right.
Much respect to you and Fez, but come on, Earl.
Come on, show some respect. We don't run a potty mouth show.
Sorry about that, Ron.
All right, see.
What's up?
Jay, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, Dick Holder 723.
What do you say, my brother?
Should Earl be making changes to the show when Thursday will be his last day when Ron Wood won't be booked?
How do you know Ron Wood won't be at the wedding?
Because Earl's in charge of it.
I believe Ron Wood will be there. Don't you, Earl?
Oh, of course. I have every intention of having a stone on these airwaves by Thursday.
But wouldn't it be fantastic to have Ron Wood just show up at the wedding? And by stone, why Ron Wood? I don't know, one of the other ones. You know, Ron Wood's a fantastic artist.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Maybe he could draw Casey and Dave.
That would be nice. I mean, his artwork's displayed all over the world. It's fantastic. And, have Dave, highlight the red in Dave's hair and
an original wood as their wedding gift.
But yeah, I mean, I have every intention of having a Rolling Stone on these airways by Thursday.
Where the hell is my phone? I heard it beep.
Be a nice wedding surprise. So yeah, you said you would get a stone. I guess you decided it specifically would be Ron Wood by the first day of summer.
June 21st, the first day of summer.
I have the Save Dave nip pickup in the Pal Talk room. And this is the one day I don't have Pal Talk. And Frenchie's got the nips out. Oh, this is a travesty today. I can't deal like this. Let's go with Larry. Larry, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, guys. I love Pepper Hicks as much as the next guy. But there's a guy named Guy Geyerson waiting in the wings who's talking sports.
I think Guy Geyerson's starting to catch on a little bit. I really do. Did you think I was going to hit you? You're like a dog that's afraid. I made a movement and Earl almost dove on the ground.
He cowered.
You're like a beat dog, Earl.
Yeah, I mean, that's something back when I was growing up with my father, that whole deal. Oh, by the way, I got baby pictures, by the way.
Oh, I love to see them.
Yeah, I got one from me. It's like 2 days old.
I had them bring in baby pictures last week. Dave's are hysterical. He looks like the most adorable ADD kid in the world. Pitsy's thing was the saddest. He was a 5-year-old Pitsy, looking and acting the same way that he looks today.
Little fire hydrant.
Yeah. Yesterday I sent some emails out to the boys and I said, make sure everyone calls your father, except for Pitsy, because he ain't got no dad.
That really brightened my day up, Ron. Thank you.
Did that help you?
Yeah, it did, actually.
Are you going to miss your buddy, Dave?
Yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do without him, really.
Well, now you got your new buddy.
Pepper Hicks?
Lane Stanley. Here is, well, I don't have your name. It's a funny day today. You're on the Ron and Fez show. How are you?
How are you guys?
Good.
How are you guys today? I just wanted to say that I'm a supporter of all of you guys and also Opie and Anthony, and I'm a big fan of Black Earl. But I'm willing to come down there and run over my radio for Dave.
Well, contact the PAC with that. It's the only way to go about it. Because you don't want to run over your radio without being on TV.
Yeah, it defeats the whole purpose of it.
I understand. I was just had sent to me XM phones just tied up. There's been already 2 callers about if Dave's fired, they are going to quit.
The receptionist is in the weeds.
But right now, the operator's on it. They offer you a lollipop, and once you get that, you won't want to, hey, I'll send you a lollipop. Oh, fuck it then. The hell with Dave. Should we give Dave an opportunity to give his side of the story or no? Or you're going to send out no matter what he has to say?
I'll send it out no matter what.
Yeah. All right. So, I don't see Dave around attempting to defend himself today either. That's his fault.
No, you would think he would want to get ready for arbitration or something.
Yeah. Well, I know. Who's the shop steward? Are we a union shop?
I don't know who our shop steward is.
We're not union. We're not union. Here's Bobby. Bobby, you're on the Ron and Fez show.
Hey, I believe he called him Gooch.
Look, here's the beauty. Dave wants to say why he's a good employee, right? He's standing at the door knowing that he can't use a mic, not realizing in his non-producing head there's another mic over at Pepper Hicks, but he doesn't know how to think on his feet. And Nico is giving him, the intern is going to head back here. Nico, I like it. You're working the door and nobody gets through for you. Nico, you got those little things to write down. Write down Nico's doing a good job and hand it to yourself. Bobby, what is it?
I believe Tony called him Gooch, not Gagool.
No, what's that?
He called AJ Gazooch.
I can't hear you. Phones are terrible, too. It's just a hideous day around here. All right, Dave is on a microphone right now. Dave?
Yes, hi.
Nice to finally have you come to the show.
Okay.
Rough day for you today?
Yeah, it's a real rough day when your boss, your executive producer, is a lying fucking son of a bitch.
All right, now, can I tell you something right now?
What?
That is a fireable offense to me.
Okay, well then.
And Earl, I don't know why you put up with that.
Who says I'm putting it up? Why do you think I'm sending an email?
But that's not the first time he talked about you that way. You have not come back in here in a professional manner, Dave. And I would say this straight to the PAC, that is not the way a person who's on the bubble should be acting.
But he's not telling you anything that's true. First of all, about the opening, we can always put the opening in a CD player and play it. So the whole reason why he was trying to load it into Delete was because he was avoiding talking to you guys because he thought he was in trouble today.
Why did you think you were in trouble?
I didn't think at all.
Absolutely. The studio wasn't set up?
We wanted to... First of all, when I walked in, you kept asking me to load the song into Delete.
I didn't say that at all. That's A. B, how about on a day where we really need you? Maybe a day where, everyone else was here early? Maybe you don't come in at 11:30.
I did not come in at 11:30. That is not true.
What time did he come in?
I came at 5 after 11.
Earl, we did not see you till 11:30, unless you were hiding somewhere.
Oh, now look who it is. It's 2 against 1.
Wait, and his new thing is also...
Earl, did you hear what Pitsy's doing?
Yes, he's trying to throw me under the bus.
You believe that Pitsy should be on that?
I would put his name on there as well. Why not Clean House?
Well, who's taking my spot, Earl?
Maybe we could put Lily in that.
Hey, Earl, you should also be putting yourself on that list, being that Ron Woods... more than likely will not show up. And if Ron Woods shows up, I will leave. I will leave.
It's not up to you. It's up to Wiki, whether you leave or not.
And I think Don will see that he's had a lot less problems with me and is someone who is more of a team player, who is willing
Earl, are you going to go push send?
Yeah, I'll push send.
Go ahead and go push it.
All right.
Push it, because he's not a team player. He's all about Earl Douglas. He doesn't do things for the radio show. How about the summer of Earl? Or how about when he was supposed to get a date?
What's that got to do with your job? That's none of your business.
What it has to do with is he doesn't communicate at all, and then he makes up excuses and lies.
Oh, Dave, when I try to communicate, when I try to delegate, you run from responsibility.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
You completely run from responsibility.
Tell me.
When you were like, hey, the guys need to talk to you right now, I was like, Dave, I need to deal with this right now.
I was talking. You didn't. You could have played the CD. You could have.
So where was the CD, Dave?
You had it in your hand.
Yeah. Again, it wasn't a CD that you could play on a CD.
We had both mixes, Earl. We had an MP3 and a wave.
So where was it, Dave?
It was you and Pepper do the openings. You and Pepper do the openings every day. How am I supposed to know?
Listen to the way you're screaming, Dave.
Dave, you're getting a little irrational. You need to calm down.
You're making me irrational, Poppy. I'm not going to apologize.
Go hit send.
Now, in this email, have I been nothing but professional?
You have been. Go hit send.
You called
and I'd actually put Pitsy on the bubble if I was you, for feeling like he needs to jump in. Because you have to take control of this.
And I'm taking control of it. If I have to clean house, I'll clean house.
Great. You're Clint Eastwood all of a sudden. But you know what? Clint Eastwood at least faced people and talked to them.
Hey, the one thing that you always throw in my face, everyone's like, but you're the executive producer. I'm making an executive decision.
Great, make it. Make it. Because, you know what? At least you're doing something rather than skirting your responsibility.
Hey, Dave, I'm telling you right now, if Wiggy takes this serious and he plays his back, you're fucking gone. You are gone.
I understand that, but at the same time, I can't let Earl just sit in...
Because now you're acting schoolyard instead of professional.
I'm trying to be professional, but Earl gets me into a rage when he just says lies. I mean,
Earl, do you think this is a race matter? Do you think that they don't respect you over racial reasons?
That could be very possible. I mean, they have this. I've heard a couple of things thrown about in the office that could be implied a certain way, but I always let it roll off my back.
You impressed with Fez and I? We don't see race. We're the only show in radio with a black executive producer.
That is true. You
Branch Rickies. We're a couple of Branch Rickies.
Pioneers.
Yeah.
I mean, but you guys...
see one black face on that whole O&A staff?
Not a one.
Would have helped them, though. They should have one of everybody. Every minority should be on that staff for when the trouble hits. I go, what are you talking about? Look, we got a Jewish guy right here next to the black guy. That O&A staff should look like Star Trek. It really should.
Would have helped them out big time.
That's why we have a black, we have a Muslim, we got Nico, half Jewish.
It's like the UN of radio.
It really is as nice as we can get it. We got Fez and that whole ever-growing high money minority.
He's also what? He's also Canadian.
That's not really a minority. Canadian is just another word for white.
Really?
The Canadians blend in too easily.
Chuck, you're on the Ron and Fez show.
Hey, that memory pill.
Yeah.
Why don't you guys slip Dave, the Eastside Dave, or maybe even Earl that pill? That way they just kind of forget that they even have to show up there.
I would take it just to forget the show today. Exactly. That would be my belief.
It's problem solved.
All right. All right, there you have it. Earl, why don't you go over, you hit send, and come back and tell us when it's sent out. All right?
All right.
Best of luck to you. Is Pitsy going to be part of this, or are you going to deal with him separately?
I'll deal with him separately.
Nice move.
Again, not to look vindictive or, spiteful.
You've been nothing but professional, my friend.
Thank you. I try to be.
You've been nothing but professional. And Dave has sounded like a wild man today.
Yeah, he came in screaming, called me, I won't even repeat what he called me.
I want to end up against Deb on one of those split screens on Nightline. By the way, I call any news show Nightline. I don't care what it is. All right, go over and hit send. Wiki's going to be dealing with this today. John Black Rage. By the way, I put it at the bottom. This is Black Rage. And then also put Ron's like Branch Ricky. And Fez is like a Lime Ricky.
Delicious.
Never tasted one. Too straight. Here is Chad. Chad, you're on Ron Fez.
I just want to know what happened over the weekend that fucking made Earl so great.
He's fantastic. To me, he's a rising star right now. And this gives me the opportunity I've been looking at for a long time, and that's taking on the PAC. Just going head-to-head with them on Nightline. I can't wait. I cannot wait.
It may be another show other than Nightline. Maybe a different show other than Nightline.
What are you talking about, Fez?
It could be one of the CNN shows or something as well.
Remember what I said a few moments ago?
Yeah.
Call every show Nightline.
Right.
As soon as Earl gets back here, we will find out if he hits send and what Wiki's going to do about it. I think Dave shit the bed today. I think him coming back in here, screaming, using profanity, dropping the N-bomb, I think he went too far.
Well, yeah, if it ends up where he has to defend himself, in front of Wiki or ELO or something.
It's already on tape.
Yeah.
If this gets in front of arbitration, he sounds like a maniac.
I don't recall using the N-bomb.
Well, you brought up lip size, which personally, and nostril size.
Right, but that's not the N-bomb. Thank you.
To me, it is. If anything is slightly, here's another thing like I do with Nightline. If anything is slightly racist, I call it the N-bomb, no matter what it happens to be. If someone says, hey, he's a good dancer, for me, that's like hearing the N-word.
That's a whole deck of race cards.
What is?
Just referring to everything as the N-bomb.
Do you ever go back to, by the way, here's other problems we have, and I had this sent to me from RMPGP, from Whackbag. Whackbag, home of my favorite thread in the history of the internet, and that's Ron Bennington's line of the day, which I believe is up over 2,500 lines of the day now, right?
Mine more than that.
Do you read it every day?
No, I do not.
He doesn't. He doesn't know. He's lying. It's all.
What I just said. I don't read it, Dave.
Why don't you read it? You can sit and enjoy it. I find it fascinating. I'll read it to the kids when I'm trying to get them to sleep. Just real. Sometimes I'll even draw funny pictures with it. I think this could make a children's book for kids that curse. So anyway, he says he sent me Ricky Gervais DVDs and Westboro Baptist Church DVDs. I, of course, don't get it. He rechecks it, post signed for it. Now, this is the same thing that's happened with our friend Mooch, right?
Yes, it's happened. It's happened a couple of times, but. And I don't know, things always seem to go in this little black hole.
I asked you to go look for it. You found it for me.
Yes, I did.
Where was it?
It was in the bookshelf over Dave's desk.
So you think what happened to it?
I just think that it just, like everything else in that office, when I tell them to clean the office, it just kind of got discarded and kind of tossed aside.
First of all, why would anybody take something that belongs to me and put it up somewhere in the office like it was storage?
I couldn't tell you. I mean, every time there's a piece of mail for any of us, I'm like, make sure they get it. Make sure there's a one sheet of someone, make sure the person gets properly credited for it. Just not let it hang in the office too long.
And things are just disappearing.
Who was behind that?
I would have to say Dave. Dave's in the office more than any of us.
I'm in the office doing work.
When some Poe hands that thing over, when he signs for it, it's supposed to come to me.
I don't know what happened. I thought that it had been put out there and had been taken. And if that's
so, you already knew about it.
I just knew about it this week, but now that you're talking about it, perhaps I remember putting it in the desk and then I don't know, and I'll take responsibility for this one. Then
put that down till he steals from Ron.
You may need to do a follow-up email.
How about the Mooch one? Did you find that?
No, I never even heard
Mooch
about
said
that.
he sent me Rory Gallagher live, which I would love to watch. Nope.
See, but can I also just say this? Sometimes people sign for things and then they just put them over my desk like that.
So you're blaming Poe?
No, I'm not. Yeah, I am.
Then you need to find yourself on a daily basis checking in with Poe.
I'm going to start doing that.
How can you? You're already out of here if Wiki does his job.
I hope Don sees things differently.
Here is Paul. Paul, you're on Run Fez.
Hey, what's up, guys? Hey, Earl, listen, man, if you really think the corporate guys at XM are going to fire the little people down... Hello?
Yeah, you're not making any sense. What is it you want to say?
No, I just wanted to say that they're going to fire the top guy. I mean, he's responsible. He's accountable to even let this get to this level.
The whole screening of phone calls has to mean to screen out the retards. That's what we mean when we say screen the calls. No bad calls. That's not too much. It's a Ron and Fez show. Here comes the site.
Welcome back, Dave.
I just want to apologize to Earl Douglas. I don't think Earl's a bad guy. I want to make that absolutely clear. Do I think he's got some very, very, very slimy, just really traitorous, qualities? The type of qualities you wouldn't want anywhere near you if were in a group, say you're in the mob or something like that. You're going to have Earl as part of your crew? Come on. He'd be fucking ratting you to the feds in a second. He'd be fucking, are you kidding me? He'd be wearing a wire, getting your entire crew pinched in a heartbeat because he doesn't have, he has an issue with honesty and he has an issue with accountability. And so when you're dishonest and when you can't take responsibility for things, then you'll lie and you'll be deceptive and you'll bullshit and you'll throw people under the bus who don't deserve to be there. Do I think he's a bad guy? No. I want to make that very clear. I want to make that very, very clear. Now, do I think he's got reprehensible human attributes. Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
It seems like the more rhetorical questions you ask yourself, the less of a
Well, the
good guy.
Dayquil. Listen, this is a Dayquil episode, Robert. Now you get off my back.
Oh, God. I know how this goes.
Yeah.
I'm going to go write an
Fucking
email.
laser beams will be pointed in your direction, pal.
No, sir. You know what? Let's point those laser beams back where they should be because I actually have Earl's letter here. Would you like to hear it?
Yes.
Okay. Before he even
I'm gonna
reads it,
get so angry.
I
Maybe
know you
this
are.
was a mistake, or maybe this was actually a great plan in hopping me up with fucking Dayquil. By the way, I was coming. I'm also it's mixed with NyQuil because I took NyQuil last night, but I took it at like 3 a.m. because my body was aching so badly I couldn't get to bed, like my fucking lower back pain that we were talking about. So I couldn't get to sleep. I'm driving. So I feel like I'm under the influence of NyQuil, Dayquil, and then, again, more other medications that I just chuck in my mouth. I try to always beat any cold or flu or anything by buying every medication at Walgreens and eating them all at the same time.
I mean, maybe it'll work. You're kind of fighting.
It's the way it's always worked for me in the past. But I will say today, it's making me extra crazy.
Yeah. We could tell.
I apologize.
I also like
I
when
hope
you said,
wait, you can tell. What are you saying? This episode's shit?
no, it's not. That's not what I'm saying. You're more fired up than even usual. That's all.
Really?
Oh, yeah. What do they call it? Ruckus enthusiasm? Today might be a new stage.
How am I
art.
sick? You know, it's like it's difficult for the great ones simply to not give it their all.
I could tell.
But I also am making a mistake because on some of these fucking crazy diatribes, I don't even know where I am or what I'm even thinking about at some point. I've recognized I'll be looking at you saying, what am I fucking even talking about? Who am I mad at now?
That's good because I thought it was me at some points. I was like, did I lose his train of thought somewhere along the way? But no, I'm just teasing. It's a good episode. That said, we do have Earl's email here. Now, when he goes in, they go, did you hit send yet, Earl? And he goes, no. I always check everything with you. And it's kind of like a tongue-in-cheek barb at you almost. Like, look, I'm the goody two-shoes. So Ron goes, all right, here we go. Don, I would like to recommend that we replace David McDonald with Pepper Hicks effective immediately.
First of all.
You're gonna hit. Yeah, that point gets brought up. Don't worry.
No. We're gonna break it. Let me break it down line by line. He puts my real name, David McDonald, which I'm. Wow, that's very nice. I don't think I've ever heard Earl even say my full name, David McDonald. Pepper Hicks. The name Pepper is neither his first name nor is Hicks his last name. His name is Chris Stanley. You stupid fucking idiot.
And as Ron points out, who gave him the nickname Pepper Hicks? You did. So the guy you're trying to replace him with, you're using the name.
I gave him the Pepper. In all fairness, Ron thought he looked like Bill Hicks.
Yeah,
the Hicks comes from Ron. The Pepper comes from me.
And the hamburgers?
Hamburgers comes from me because when we were doing the Davey Max Sports program, I was watching the Today Show one time, and who was the guy? Willard Scott. Yeah, Willard Scott, the weatherman on the Today Show, who would like give a 100-year-old birthday shout out.
Yeah.
And one of the ladies, this like 105-year-old woman from like South Carolina, and her name literally was Peppy Hamburger. Like a happy 105th birthday to Peppy Hamburger. And I'm like, oh my God, that's the best. And I started calling him Peppy Hamburger after that fucking thing. So the Pepper went to the Peppy Hamburger from there.
I love it. So Peppy Hamburgers is going to replace you effective immediately. Since coming aboard as an intern, Pepper has brought a great passion and energy to the show.
Oh, and I don't! You fucking lying bitch!
He is constantly coming in with ideas that have worked for the show on and off the air.
I'm like, yeah, I don't come up with characters or bits or skits. First of all, what is he fucking talking about? Pepper never did any of that. I mean, I love Pepper too. Don't get me wrong. He didn't do characters and shit the way I did. Sketches. I did sketches and bits and shit like that. I wrote tons of shit out. What is he talking about? Well, when I was there the entire time, Pepper never wrote characters for himself. He didn't do that. I know he does a great job with Lockdown now and doing those videos. When I was there, he didn't do any of that.
More importantly, you don't need ideas off the air, as Ron points out. You only need on-air ideas.
Yeah, but it's crazy because he's literally listing my attributes and assigning them to Pepper. Energy, passion, comes up with bits, characters. Is he getting the right person? Is he getting him confused with me? At that time, Pepper was not doing sketches, is all I'm saying. It just wasn't happening. He wasn't writing characters. And honestly, the day I left, Pepper wasn't really writing characters and stuff like that. He just wasn't part of his thing. He was the production guy.
This next line may be one of my favorites because it is, as a matter of fact, he has decided that Ron should make some changes at home as well. Which I don't know what that means or like.
Earl Douglas is saying Pepper has decided Ron Bennington needs to make changes at home
as well. Yeah.
I hope Ron hears about this somehow.
I'm sure he's
because there's no way he's gonna take Earl Douglas saying that Pepper feels that Ron, you need to make changes at home. That scenario is so insane to me.
It's just nuts. Completely. It sounds
what did he mean by that?
I never gets elaborated on at all. There were other much more glaring issues with the email.
All right, keep going with the letter.
It sounds like he has good ideas and he's willing to give us his time, no matter how long, to any project. Dave has been terrific on air, but has lacked administrative skills that are needed to make the show go to the next level.
You fucking bitch. You fucking black bitch.
If you'd like to discuss this at length, please feel free to call me. Love, Earl.
Yeah, right. The next level. I am the next level. That's what they fucking call me. Davey next level. Anything I touch goes to the next level. I don't give a shit. Look at my fucking resume. Everything I touch, next level. Ratings go up. Eyeballs go up. Listenership. Stop it. Stop it. What administrative skills do I need, stupid? This is radio. You need one fucking doofus who does all the boring ass production work, putting the goddamn show in the computer, editing it, doing the replay and shit like that. And then the rest, you need creative people. That's simple.
Nothing wrong with that. And that's a good team if everybody knows their role and is okay with it. You know what I mean? It just seems like Earl didn't have the administrative skills to figure out that was.
Yeah, what skills does Earl have? Because he neither has creative nor administrative skills.
1 million
% letter?
That is the end of the letter. Ron points out you probably shouldn't end a business email with "Love, Earl."
He wrote "Love, Earl."
May have been a joke. I haven't seen the official email. I just transcribed, But at this point, they go, "Did you send it yet?" And he goes, "No, I wanted to see what you guys think." And they keep trying to push him to send the email. That's clearly the goal here, is to get Earl to send this email, much like they did with Al Dukes, and then pull the rug out from under him. But you come in fired up, and it's so funny you went, "You black doofus," because you go for that right away when you come in.
What did I say? Uh-oh.
Actually, to be fair, you initially come in and just go, "Yeah, I've got something to say, you fucking lying piece of shit." And Ron goes, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, I think that's a fireable offense right there." And points out, like, as you get more fired up, several times they bring up the point that, "Hey, Dave, if Wiki listens to this out of context, don't get yourself in actual trouble here." And does that make sense? Like, I think they were trying to warn you, like, "Hey, this is a bit."
No! You cannot fire up the fucking Dave man. And then when he gets to his fucking boiling point, everyone gets nervous. Sorry. You're fucking, you want it? You got it. I'll bring the fucking pain now. He is a liar.
Were you on Dayquil the day before your wedding? Because I think that might be verbatim your response when they try to calm you down. Like, whoa, you got me fired up. I'm the fired up man. You can't tear me down. Now, like it was all in. Yeah.
There was there's a great possibility I was on medication before the wedding. I'm not saying it was Dayquil, but some kind of medication, yes.
Rum day. So, one of the questions that the crew came up with for this was, is Earl's ineptitude to properly articulate the problem via email representative of his inability to stand up for himself and be that guy as a whole? Like, even within the email, the constant justifications and Dave's done this. As Fez points out, you probably shouldn't say somebody's wonderful as you're asking to get them fired in an email. Like, do you think that, like, if you were going to fire me, for example, you would just be like, hey, we need to fire this guy. If you have any more questions, call me. It wouldn't be like, well, since he's great, but we need to do this and, the pepper thing.
Right.
At one point, Ron goes, you should have put in there, I would have said Lily, but in my words, she's a, quote, cock tease, end quote. Ron was on fire.
So you're saying that they had Earl write this letter just as a way to get his feelings out there?
I think, yes, to get his feelings out there, but also if things were to continue to cycle and there was a real problem, to get some documentation that the crazy guy Dave on air isn't the crazy guy. Like this executive producer who's willing to send emails.
But well, truth be told, it makes both me and Earl look crazy.
Yeah. So at least it's balanced, and you can say yours is a character.
Yeah, but again, this can't be helpful to either of our careers, Earl.
No, exactly. And as you pointed out, this isn't like when they had Al Duke slide the letter under the door. The guy who was there listened to the show every night. He was in the back room. Like, they knew what was going on. It was clearly a bit.
Totally different vibe with these guys. Bladder and Cross were disinterested. Shame on them, by the way, but they were. They would make the fucking excuse of, well, I'm running all these other channels and blah, 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 blah. But like a lot of vice presidents at SiriusXM, they like having the fucking title. Once you get in the office and you have the title, you're feeling good about yourself. You don't have to do a lot after that. It's a great place to work if you're a former program director who wants to get six figures as a vice president or something like that and really contribute jack and shit.
More importantly, it's not that hard. Like, I was a SiriusXM subscriber and could listen to all the shows under their tutelage in one day. As a listener, it was perfectly doable. That's not my job. I'm not getting paid, as you pointed out, six figures. Even if you're not listening to the whole episode, check out an hour of each one. Make sure, you know what I mean?
No, of course. And I know that they didn't, because like I said, every time I asked them, well, did you hear what happened today? No, but I'm gonna go listen to the replay tonight. Yeah, okay, sure, whatever. You guys aren't listening to the show, so you don't know who's valuable and who isn't, because you're not listening to the show. You're ignorant.
I couldn't imagine being in a position. Oh, no, wait. Yes, I could.
Uh-oh.
No, I was just saying I couldn't imagine being in a position where the program director really has no idea what's going on the network he's running or like what the actual issues are. No, wait, I would know exactly that.
Yeah, I mean, that's the case with most PDs, I don't know why companies continuously do this. They choose the least creative person in the world to head up a creative enterprise. And when that person just is boring and does the same old bullshit that's always been done, and they bring no inventiveness or innovation to it, they're just something new and fresh. And then people go, what the fuck? It's like, it's the sad way of the world that the bosses who make more money than the creative people too often, they know jack and shit.
1,000,000%. Now, I will say the one person I do kind of at Sirius say it felt like as a listener had a little more hand on the pulse was Wickland. Like it felt like even if he wasn't listening to the show, he was able to take a call and run with the bit a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that. I would probably say that. And you brought up Eric Logan. I know that he was always good with the O&A crew.
So maybe
Logan and Wickland were both XM guys, don't forget. So, again, that's the difference, right? I mean, we're just talking about it. And, Bladder and Cross are serious guys. And I really need people to understand. XM encouraged new forms of radio. XM encouraged you do something totally fresh outside of the box. Whether it's a format or just anything, any kind of idea, go for it. If you have an idea, we encourage that. You want 2 hours or 3 hours on a Saturday night or a Sunday night randomly, we'll give it to you. That changed with Sirius. We couldn't do a Super Bowl show the way we did at XM. The XM Super Bowl show where we had to change the team names to ronfez.net, remember? That was the only caveat. The XM people said, they're like, listen, we don't have rights to the NFL, so you can't call the game, but if you can change the names or something or figure out a way, then you can just watch the Super Bowl. And they said they were helping us. Like, They were telling us how to do this in a way that no one's going to get fired. And what ended up happening? Just a random Sunday night Super Bowl show where everyone's there and everyone has a blast. We weren't able to do that at Sirius. We would ask Sirius even sometimes, we have an idea for a specialty show. Oh, well, the computer already has all the shows in for the week. So just delete the 2 hour block where you're putting in a best of, or you're putting on a replay, a rerun of Ron and Fez or Opie and Anthony on Friday. Rather than getting the third rerun of the week of that, let us use that third rerun spot for a brand new show, and we'll promote it, publicize it, and get new people interested. Oh, no. Nope. The schedule's already in. No, if you guys are going to do something special like this, you have to give us a month in advance. Otherwise, the computer, it's all locked in. They would they would get pissed and irritated if you wanted to do something creative for them. Hey, stupid assholes! It was a freebie. Like, we don't get paid to come in on Super Bowl Sunday. We were doing it for love of the game.
I feel you.
And yet, that was discouraged by Sirius, and that's the issue. People really got to understand that if they're like, Sirius XM, I don't know. I wonder, blah, 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 blah. That's the difference. It's not too late for Sirius to make those changes. But see, no one in Sirius, no Sam Roberts or anyone's going to tell Sirius, hey, man, you guys got to, we got to fucking freshen up and start innovating here.
No. They just want to roll until it goes away. Nero's playing the fiddle as the empire collapses.
Yeah. I mean, it's nice to get paid and everything, but you could get paid a lot longer if the company is around a lot longer and the company is more profitable. And I think the way to do that is to get back to innovation and doing shit that's really fucking cool, the way XM did stuff. The Pal Talk shows, the Super Bowl specials, the election night special. Shit like that. We couldn't do any of that at Sirius.
I remember the lengths and Fez talking about it on air, the hoops he tried to jump through to get the Super Bowl show back when it became Sirius. Like, you were willing to change the names, you were willing to do it as a delay, whatever it would do. And ironically, Sirius had the rights to the game. Like, you could have just done a broadcast of it. You know what I mean? It wasn't like you could get sued. They literally could have allowed you to do it.
If Sirius did it, we could have actually had the fucking real teams rather than calling the Giants ronfez.net.
They could have cross-promoted. They
And
could have
rather
put
than
you on one of the sports
Kevin
channels.
Boss, the Giants tight end Kevin Boss, Kathleen from the Bronx. We had to call the Giants tight end to Kathleen from the Bronx. And don't forget, late in the fucking game, Kevin Boss had like a 70-yard, or 64-yard
Kathleen from the Bronx
reception.
balled out. Yeah.
So we're having to fucking broadcast Kathleen from the Bronx with a huge 64-yard reception here.
That's amazing.
And even that was at least fun or crazy, but I don't know. I think that Sirius is content to be celebrities, I've told you, I've seen the Sirius pyramid scheme of success, and at the very top of the pyramid it says celebrities. Then it goes down to sports and like bona fide radio people, and then it goes down to blah blah blah, like people and stuff like that. But they look at celebrities as the number one thing, not radio people and radio shows. And the mistake is that they're different art forms. Don't get me wrong. If Bob Dylan wants to fucking do a show for you, yes, obviously. Like, yes, you can have celebrities. But the problem is not to give these celebrities either entire shows. They, the massive mistake of giving Oprah something crazy like $100 million for 4 hours of radio. She had to do 4 one-hour specials per year for some crazy amount. Maybe it was 60 million or 80 million or something. But it was the most insane amount of fucking money. Like that shit. No, that will not help you in any way, shape, or form.
No. And if you think about the XM days in particular, it was like the celebrity would come to XM and they would take that celebrity to the shows that fit what that celebrity was. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They would still bring in the celebrities, but it wasn't to have their own show. It was to be showcased by the people who know how to do a radio show.
Right. You want your regular radio. You want good, fun, unique, fresh radio shows too. Not just, hey, it's the fucking Oprah Winfrey, quarterly fucking hour review or whatever the goddamn thing is, or the Lance Bass fucking show, or the Jenny McCarthy, I'm a fucking bifocal cunt experience, or whatever the fucking bullshit is. Like, you can have some of that, but also have people who care about this, because ultimately, that is the shit that people are going to listen to. So, Howard Stern wasn't a celebrity before he became a big radio star, or Opie and Anthony, or Ron and Fez, or blah, blah, blah. Like, you got to have your shows that are really good at just doing radio. My Lord.
And if you look at what we're talking about today, this is the day before the station's throwing a huge wedding show that's going to be on air. That's arguably hasn't been done to that level before. You know what I mean? Like, this is a completely thing. The day before, you're generating all this self-sustained drama, and it's like, so yeah, you could have Ryan Reynolds come in to talk about Deadpool 3 for the 30th time across multiple platforms, or this is something completely fresh. You're not going to find it anywhere else. You know what I mean? And that idea is lost, of like generating your own interest. It's all about, let's use somebody else's attention to bring views to me, and that's just not what happens.
They don't know. They fucked the entire radio industry up by thinking that, again, I'm not talking about interviewing Ryan Reynolds for a new movie. I'm talking about Sirius giving radio shows to celebrities. That has helped ruin radio as we know it. Sirius XM or satellite radio, actual radio, because real radio and podcasting is a special art form unto itself. And the people who do it well know how to fucking make magic out of it. And the celebrities don't.
No.
With all due respect, they become celebrities because they're really good in something else. Lance Bass is good at the fucking dancing and singing and the other shit. But you can't, but then you give these people a fucking radio show, and it's like, no. And the shit doesn't go, it's not like it's massive ratings or huge success that people are talking about. No one fucking cares.
The guy who I think screwed it all up was Ricky Gervais, because he and Stephen Merchant were good, and they assumed that was the rule, not the exception to the rule. And those were two guys who were both musicians at one point in their life and had fallen in love with radio. They'd been listening. You know what I mean? They knew how to do it. So everybody went, oh, look, you take the funny guy, you give him a show, everybody makes it great, and didn't realize that it was actually a radio guy in hiding. And I think people saw that model, tried to run with it, and no one's been able to replicate the success they had.
And now they don't really know how to even discover new talent because they're just all fucked in the head about everything. So it's very strange.
Well, did you hear about Tuesdays with Teft and Troy?
No.
That's the new show over on Faction.
What is it called?
Tuesdays with Teft and Troy. I was making a joke. That's what they do. They find a producer and they're like, hey, you want to fill in some time for us?
I get it.
All right, we're not going to give you any more money. Go ahead.
I get it. Yeah. Tuesdays with Troy.
With Teft and Troy. Travis Teft. I want to hear Travis on there too. But
here comes Eastside Dave into the studio for the first time today. How are you, David?
I'm very good, thank you. I'm a little bit on edge because of some of the problems, and, we all know what they are.
Well, I have a email, too, that I'll be reading in a little bit that's come back from Wiki already, Fez.
Oh, quick response.
Yeah.
We actually got something from the Manhattan Sports Memorabilia Society for Fez.
Really?
They heard Fez talking about them.
Yeah.
And so they thought we'll chip in and get him something nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So
I got a signed Babe Ruth ball, which is really just a Ron and Fez stress ball, and someone has scribbled the name Babe Ruth. They've printed Babe Ruth on it poorly.
I think that's from the Big Bambino.
They swore it was authentic.
Yeah.
It's not. These polymers weren't even invented when Babe Ruth was around, and these squishy balls.
Oh, yeah, I think they had that kind. Those are like pinkies.
He busted you on the polymers. That's how he was able to get to the bottom of that. Fezzi said that he loves Manhattan for the great restaurants and sports memorabilia.
Among other things.
All right, Ron and Fez show. Here is the email back. I'll read the email first that Earl sent out to Wiki and in care of Eric Logan. So this one's going right to the top. I'd like to recommend that we replace David McDonald with Pepper Hicks, effective immediately. Since coming aboard as an intern, Pepper's brought a great passion and energy to the show. He's constantly coming in with ideas that work for the show on and off air. And boy, this sentence runs on. And he's willing to give his time, comma, no matter how long, comma, to any project. Let's see how many commas that he throws into things. Dave has been terrific on the air, but has lacked the administrative skills that are needed to make the show go to the next level. If you'd like to discuss this at length, please feel free to call me. So Wiki writes back to him, Earl, if you're so upset and dissatisfied with Dave, then why are we blowing $20K on this wedding? By the way, is there 3 S's in dissatisfied? The S's is just going like a snake showed up in the middle of this.
I don't believe so.
I'll admit the timing was pretty bad, but, I mean, hey, things came to a head today, and you got to make moves, you make the moves.
You may have to get married, Earl, to cover for this.
To who?
So how do you feel, how are you going to respond to this?
I will, I'll sit back, I'll think about it for a minute.
Why don't you just write back this? What does one have to do with the other? Good one. Go ahead. Send it out. You might want to stop CCing Elo, though. That doesn't seem like the best idea for you.
Yeah, I mean, that's
kind of stupid.
Yeah, that wasn't very bright.
None of the stuff you do is bright at all. And remind him that you're the only black working here in the New York XM offices.
Keep playing that.
Well, until you get over to a certain trumpet player. And then forget it, Earl. All right, off you go.
All right.
Make it happen. Make it so. Here is Buck. Buck, you're on Run Fez.
Hey, what's up, buddy?
Yeah.
Hey, I just can't believe Earl's got the balls with all of his screw-ups administratively to call out Dave to his own boss. That's amazing to me.
Well, Earl is Dave's boss, though. I mean, if Dave had these skills, maybe we wouldn't figure out that Earl doesn't. And this is the first time ever I'm going against the PAC on something, Fez. I'm going head-to-head with the PAC with this. And you may see me and Deb on Nightline.
All right, that means you're going to have to go ahead and debate her.
Oh, I feel comfortable with it.
Yeah?
I feel comfortable with it.
So the PAC, they'll defend just about anybody, coming to Eastside Dave's defense.
Why aren't they defending Earl on what he's been through then?
Because Earl's part of the system.
That is true. Very good point. Earl and Is this a tag out, Fez, where you don't even have to think anymore? People in other rooms are helping you. But yeah, that is a good point, Fez and company. He is the man now. Earl has become the man. What are you checking on, Earl?
No, I thought my phone was ringing.
Anything new back from Wiki?
No, not yet.
When did you send him? Oh, you didn't send him back anything? Let's see what you wrote back to him. I don't see what one thing has to do with the other. This has been coming to a head for a long time and needed to be addressed. Boy, you really did sell Dave out today on his wedding week. And you were in the wedding.
Yeah, I was a groomsman.
Are you going to be able to do something about this Pitsy situation, too? I hear him just jumping in against you. They don't respect you, Earl.
No, and, that situation will be rectified very soon.
And neither do the new interns who say that you never addressed them. They have no idea.
I address them. I say, good morning, how are you? I say, when they do something for me, I say, thank you.
But you don't give them direction.
I give them direction. I gave them several tasks last week, and they came in. And they gave them to me, and I said, thank you.
Who is the guy that you're more likely to learn from?
Pepper Hicks, actually.
Who's another intern?
Yeah, I've learned the most from Pepper Hicks. I've learned how to do best ofs. I'm learning to do show openers.
And who have you learned the least from?
I guess Earl. Well, I asked him about that thing the other day, and he gave me that joke that he tried where he was saying...
get a trade. All right, Nico, let the Velvet Underground come in. I see that he wants to be a little part of this. Velvet Underground, give us the person who gives you the most direction.
Pepper is really good. He's because he's professional, but he's also like with us. So
yeah,
it's good. So yeah,
and least
Earl.
What's the problem with Earl?
It's like a wall. It ignores us. It's like we don't exist.
I hardly ignore you.
But that's those guys saying that to me. That's not me saying it to them.
No, I understand that, but I'm like I don't ignore you. I appreciate everything you guys are bringing to the table.
But you've got to. But you would be like a sergeant, right, in the Army, going, look, I appreciate you guys. You have to lead them, Earl.
Yeah, and I'm a.
Do you feel like you're being led right now, Underground?
Nah, I mean, Pepper's leading me. Pepper, I'd say Pepper.
All right, so Pepper's
Pepper's
a rogue
Sergeant
Army.
Pepper, that's what we call
him. Sergeant Pepper?
Sergeant Pepper.
I fucking love it. Who came up with that?
I just did right now.
All right, you're the best.
All
right, go ahead. Every time an Underground kid comes in, not a home run, but he does get hit. He gets wood on the ball. Oh, God, look, this kid looked like he slept in his clothes last night. Would you get all fucked up, Rooster?
Yes, I did. In Prospect Park.
You starting to get around Brooklyn a little bit?
I'm starting to figure things out. It's getting a little easier.
Yeah. Who is the person you consider the leader?
I have to give it to either Eastside Dave or Pitsy. Both of them, since I've gotten here, have been extremely helpful.
Mm-hmm. And least?
Earl, I will dispute, has never told me good morning once.
Never once said good morning to you?
No.
This kid flew across the country to be here. Do you feel like you're getting the most out of your internship?
I feel, for the most part, but... Really...
I came over today, and you and Underground were staring out the window, and they were talking about, wouldn't it be weird to work construction? And I'm like, who is not keeping these kids busy? They should be on a full run at all times.
Yes, I mean, well, this morning was just...
Why don't you do this? Write another thing to Wiki and let them know you want to get rid of all the interns.
Well, I mean, they haven't really... mouthed off to me. They made an opinion, which I respect. I don't necessarily agree with, but I respect it.
If you could only pick one person who's leading you the most, who would it be?
I'd have to give it to Eastside Dave.
Wow. First vote for the ex-employee of the show, Eastside Dave.
Eastside Dave even took me out on Friday.
Where'd you guys
bought me dinner,
go?
Bought me drinks.
Was he fucked up?
He wasn't 100% clear-headed.
Now, I remember talking to him before. He wasn't allowed to drink with the interns, remember?
Yes. I totally remember that.
He had that direction.
Yes, I did. I mean, I was there even where they took them out.
Where did he take you?
Someplace up the street. I'm not really sure what it was called.
Oh, yeah, one of his Irish bars?
Exactly. I believe that was right, yeah.
We went to PJ's, and for the most part, he was just drinking cola. I was the one who had beer.
Yes, you are not allowed to drink.
Oh.
Not the interns. You're not allowed to be drunk with the interns. You were told that before.
I thought that had been lifted, so that was.
Why would it be?
I don't know. I thought that was with a few specific.
The only thing was when Bill got hired, then we said, okay, you can drink with Bill.
Okay, that was why I thought it had been lifted, so that's my mistake.
Boy, you have become Earl with the constant admitting to mistakes anymore.
Well, I'm admitting to my responsibilities where Earl likes to point the finger. So I think that's the difference between he and I.
Oh, no, he invented the line, I take full responsibility. Here is John. John, you're on Fez.
Hey, I respect Earl for trying to destroy his competition here, but it sounds like you should have gone after Pepper instead of Dave. Dave's going to self-destruct here. Pepper's the up-and-comer.
Do you start to hear the footsteps with Pepper?
I hear the footsteps. He's doing an unbelievable job.
But I heard Pepper yell at you today over the opening.
Well, again, it was so heated a moment. I was like, where is this opening? And he got a little upset. I mean, we were all a little upset over it.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, I'm not a big yeller. I'm not a big screamer. I never have been.
I've heard you scream on here all last week.
Yeah, I mean, when it takes me
so...
so...
when you and Dave has come to a head, there's nothing you can do about it anymore.
It takes me so
One of you has to leave.
Yes. I mean, and it takes me so long to really explode and really...
Do you think it would be better for the show, considering how much he adds to the on-air product, if you step down instead of asking Dave to step down?
No, I don't see that at all. I don't see me...
You honestly feel like you're a more valuable person to the show itself than Dave?
Yeah, I do. I really do.
Really? What do you do?
Well, production. I do...
What production gets done?
Well, I make sure that, best ofs are coordinated.
Well,
and
speaking of that, people told me that want to tape the shows, your Friday best of, when it's midnight Friday night, everybody hears the Monday show, so they don't get the Friday replay.
Well, I had that exact conversation on, it was either Wednesday or Thursday with Wiki about that, and he was like...
So this is Wiki's fault.
I don't even know if it's...
Next email, Wiki, follow yourself.
I don't know if it's a Wiki fault or a DC fault, but I asked
what
that
if you did
exact same
something
question.
different rather than what you're doing now?
It's kind of Oliver Twist.
Brian, you're on Fez.
Hey, Ronnie, I'm lazy. I rarely tell the truth, and I was brought up with the Easter Bunny and Santa Claus, so I could take over for Earl easily. I'm gullible. I believe everything, and I can deflect excuses all over the place.
Earl, how do you feel about that? The same point that they gave you your religion, they also told you about the Easter Bunny, Santa Claus, to help keep you in line.
We never were brought up on the Easter Bunny or Santa Claus. And Brian, you got excellent comic timing also.
What is that? Why? Is this your Christian love that you have right now?
I'm paying him a compliment.
What's the compliment, Earl?
He has good timing.
You have the balls to sit around and judge somebody else's timing? You're a fucking producer. You should be able to know where the show's going and hit music and sound effects. You never fucking do it at all. You want to talk about timing? I'll fucking sit here and do an air check with you and point out all the things that could be added to this show. Now, the fucking guy was talking to you. Why do you have to attack every caller? If you attacked every 10th caller, I wouldn't give a shit. But you attack everybody who fucking calls this show.
The man did insult me.
He fucking did not. He said he came up with Santa Claus and the Easter Bunny like we all were. And at a certain point, you no longer believe what you were taught as a child. It's a fucking decent point. You could make your point instead of turning it into dog shit. That's why I can't fucking depend on you to jump into this show without it turning into you fucking screaming at people. What do you have for us? Hicks?
I can give me 2 minutes.
All right. This is a thing of the way Earl talks to callers. I'm telling you right now, Earl, this fucking 2 weeks vacation couldn't be coming any goddamn sooner for me. That you sit around and you say you worry about what happens on the show, and you do the same thing fucking day after day.
Yeah, it's in one run.
Where's your fucking timing right now, Earl?
I apologize. I'm sorry.
Why again?
I took it as an insult. I apologize.
You take this fucking show as an insult.
No, that is not the case at all. But I thought he insulted me, and I misinterpreted it. I'm sorry.
All right, here's an example of Earl talking to people on the show.
You've completely fucked up the best stuffs. I get the emails every day.
You know, and then
this is who you are.
No,
and Al was right. We have taken responsibility after responsibility away from you.
If you're sitting here listening to this channel all day, you really need more time.
You're a fucking asshole. They pay to listen to this channel. They should have programming at all times.
No, and I understand.
Maybe at NEW used to attack the P1s. That's why you used to have a 1.9 there for 22 years. Well, that was inside. That was a fucking inside joke.
Here's more.
You know what? Now I'm not having fucking fun here anymore. Now I'm not fucking having fun. The last person to have fun is no longer. Now what do we do?
Yeah, find a way to have fun again.
Bullshit.
Again, I'm sorry. I'm totally sorry.
Earl, why this has to happen?
I don't want to fucking do this radio. I'm fucking sick of it.
Earl, why do you do this?
I thought
Why? Why do you fucking do this?
What the man? I was on the assumption he insulted me, and why? And when I get insulted, why can't I defend myself?
You. I'm insulting you right.
So
you can talk to.
Just
are you insulted? Defend your fucking self.
And
now fucking defend yourself.
And I misinterpret that, and I apologize for that. I misinterpreted what he said, and I apologize.
Earl, I am being as honest as I can. You are fucking ruining this. You are fucking ruining this show.
You need to get it together, Earl.
You drive me absolutely insane. Why you add to the stress of things instead of helping alleviate it is beyond me.
It's the happiest show on earth, the Ron and Fez show. Ron Bennington, Fez Watley, Earl Douglas, all sitting in together. That got a little crazy.
Yeah. I'm sorry that it got that crazy. I'm a mess right now. I don't know what to think or say.
You know what? We're going to have to stop the wedding. The wedding has put too much pressure on all of us.
Yeah, it's been the wedding, you know.
Call Wiki and tell them we went out of this wedding. And Dave and Casey will get married in a civil ceremony in Reno.
It sounds right to me. That makes everybody happy.
Well, except for Dave and Casey.
Well, they'll get married.
And Wiki, who's already spent the money.
And gotten the tablecloths and flowers together.
What's that? Who's yelling our names out over there? Dave, what's going on there? If I take Earl out of that...
no, sorry, the microphone hit. But I was going to say, I would hope the wedding would still go on, even though I do...
We're going to do this wedding, and then we're all going to take 2 weeks off.
And I apologize if it's made everyone insane.
No, we're not insane from that. It's always a pre-live gig weirdness. This one's been extra weird. It just seems to me we keep falling back into the same fucking inside shows day after day. And that 2002 shit really got on my nerves. To really fucking hear. Wait to hear the energy the show had 5 years ago. It's insane. This is the best fucking job I ever had in my life. And I do not understand why we don't show up and have fun for it.
I mean, it's... I love it. I mean, I love the work. I love what we do. I love the fact that we can...
I thought you said you were a Christian. You're going to go to hell for lying. You can't possibly love this job.
I do. I mean, as much as I question it sometimes, I'm like, it is the greatest job in the world. It is where you can be... Well, you can communicate to so many people. I mean, on this format, to communicate across the country and to connect with people from California and Texas and
then why do you scream at them? And why do you tell them not to listen to the channel?
Well, you
got to stop talking like that.
I understand. I mean, and that's just out of, when I get angry, I'm just
It's a one-note thing, and that drives me crazy.
I get so angry because, I mean, especially when I'm completely insulted or I'm thinking I'm getting insulted. When I do lose my temper, I'm just completely irrational.
Remember what I told you before. When you lose your temper, break equipment.
I can't do that anymore because the last time I did, I kind of got into trouble a little bit.
30 days in the hole.
Dave, how are you feeling about the whole wedding thing coming up? Stand by for what?
That's Pitts.
What is he screaming for?
He doesn't realize the radio show is going on.
Let me ask you this. How come this doesn't happen when Earl's in there?
It does happen sometimes, but obviously it's happened a couple of times. I feel extremely nervous, you know, and I'm filled with excitement at the same time. But I'm dying a little bit inside, and I'm also, you know, I feel nervous about everyone else's where they are in their headspace. I'm talking Ron, Fez, Earl, Pepper. You know, I think everyone's a little on edge. But for me, for my wedding, I'm nervous as hell, to be honest with you. And I may faint. I don't know.
I don't think Casey should go through with this. And I was telling this to a friend of mine today, that I feel like, as a responsibility, I got to stop this girl from marrying this lunatic.
I don't think that's necessary. I think we're a good couple, and I don't think that people need to split us up. You know, I just think we need this day to be over in a little bit of a weird way. And then when it's over, we can go on with our lives.
How did we ever get to the fact of doing this on the air? How did this even start? I don't even remember. I don't remember how we get into things that we do.
Yeah, I have no idea where we got to wedding day tomorrow at the Hard Rock.
Why are you guys getting married? You just met a few months ago.
Well, we have a connection. I mean, you know, it's pretty obvious that we don't want to be with anyone else, and that we do love each other.
We can live together.
Sure? We like the same things.
Like what?
You know, Star Wars action figures and...
Hey, Earl's here.
Figures. And baseball. Friday the 13th movies. You know, I could go on and on.
You sound like you want to marry a 10-year-old boy. That would be perfect for you.
It doesn't seem like an awful lot to build a life on.
No. We also talk about deeper things.
Like?
Israeli-Palestine conflict, for one, you know.
Let me guess whose side she's on.
Yeah,
it's the only place her and band member come together.
Right. You would guess correctly. You know, and I agree with her standpoint. So we do a little bit of that. And
along with 90% of the U.S.
Yeah.
So you could marry 90% of the U.S. right now.
Oh, okay. And, you know, other things, George Bush and some of his policies.
Let me guess, you're against him?
No, I'm not familiar with all of his stuff, but I know that it doesn't look good. You know, I would say his favorability is like 33%, so...
Favorability?
We're talking about your marriage.
Okay.
Now you're talking about poll numbers on the president.
I'm just saying this is what we talk about. But besides that, yeah, no, there's a real connection. I mean, there's, you know, we like to hug a lot, too. And there is no one else that I'd rather be with.
Is this going to your vows? Are we stepping all over your vows?
No, this has nothing to do with the vows.
Did you rewrite the vows from yesterday?
Yes, I did.
Are they better?
I think so. I could show them to you if you don't say them on the air.
Yeah, show them to me. Bring them in. Yesterday he read it before us. Just horrible. And we said, you cannot do this. You cannot do this.
I mean, he wrote them like this. It sounded like, you know, like I really, 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 like when you were 10 years old and you
Childlike.
You had to write an essay.
All right, we got a copy of the vows. This is what Eastside Dave and several failed attempts over the past 2 days while you've been practicing.
Well, let me just say this. This is very personal.
Yeah, I took your advice. Thank you. I tried to make it as personal as I could.
I would literally, if I was her, I'd turn around and run.
Uh-oh.
Why? There's a lot of nice stuff in there and a lot of accurate information. And
yeah, it is.
Does it look like it should be put together with clipped out letters from magazines? Like a serial killer letter?
I don't think it does. I think it's sweet, no? Or you know what? I don't know how to write a vow. I mean, I've never... Roman Catholic, they usually just do the.
Yeah, they do it normally
I'll
for
take you my lawfully ludded.
You're lawfully ludded.
My lawfully loved wife.
Oh, we forgot to have Casey ludded before tomorrow.
And they do it like that. So I've never. My brothers didn't write their own vows, so it's going to be an experience.
Yeah. One point here, I thought this was, you ripped it off from Lou Gehrig. There is a certain point here that's very Gehrig.
I did the,
yeah. Here's, I'm going to guess Powell, because I can't tell with the way the writing's on here today. Yeah, you're on the Ron and Fez show.
Hey, guys, how's it going?
Yeah.
Hey, Ronnie, I don't mean to beat up Earl. He's been taking a lumping today, but the guy seems to really know his music. Why is he a producer on a talk show and not 60 other, music channels on XM? Just baffling.
Earl, what do you say about that? Why didn't you get in the music business? That seems to be your thing.
I love the show. I completely, as a listener, I fell in love with the show. And
Me too.
I thought I had the best seat in the house because when you guys started in New York, I was the show. I ran the show in front of you.
Right.
So I got to see the show just go off and running, and then you can't help but fall in love with the show.
The Al Dukes years?
Yeah, no, that was actually pre-Al.
We call that pre-cum. Here's Scott, you're on Ron and Fez.
Holy shit, guys. Stand by. Eastside Davis found the perfect ingredients for a wedding. Discussing the favorability of the president, Star Wars action figures, and hugging a lot.
We're going to leave those topics off for the actual ceremony.
Now, she's writing you something too, right?
Yeah. Yeah, she's writing me something special. And we always have nice conversations about our favorite bands, how she's into the Clash and I'm into the Smithereens.
But I thought Jonathan and her share more music knowledge than you do.
Yes, they do. They like the more independent stuff. I like the more Main Street stuff, the Jersey rock, the Bruce, Bon Jovi, Pat Denuzio.
What?
And other bands, Southside Johnny.
Pat Denuzio from
the Smithereens.
Smithereens,
yeah. I'll talk about that, and then she'll talk about her bands. She's always about the
Smithereens. I forgot all about them. When were they big?
Oh, 89.
Yeah.
They were huge.
Yeah.
Girl Like You was like fucking out of this world. It was
a good song.
No, it was really awesome.
Yeah.
And I play it for her, and believe it or not, that's one of the few bands I play for her that she likes.
Really?
Yeah, she's actually very much
So
into
she's
it.
not into your Styx Journey Can? This is a song I want to play for you. It's called Cold as Ice. Listen to what he's saying to her. It's Foreigners, the name of the band. Whether you ever heard of them. But you're as cold as ice.
Yeah.
Willing to sacrifice.
So, that's our one common ground, I can't even get her into the Beatles. She's not.
Here you go.
Pretty.
You're as cold as ice.
Very nice. Is this what she's walking down the aisle to? Do we have all the music worked out, Earl?
Yes.
I want to go for that Sly Stone, Don't Call Me Whitey song. That's or at least when you and I walk out together. Yeah. What are you coming down the aisle to? Sniffing the tears? What do you have inside?
No, I'm just going to be there.
No.
I'm not sure if the guy goes down the aisle or not.
No. The guy waits up.
Yeah.
I would say by the altar, but in your case, near the hamburger grill. You'll stand.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
Stand under the giant 714 model.
Right. Well, we wouldn't be in front of an altar anyway, being that she's a Jew.
They don't have altars?
Boy, the way you say it sounds so respectful.
Jewish.
Yeah.
We're allowed to say that. That's not politically
Who's
correct.
way? The other side?
No, but I'm married in.
How are you going to raise the kids?
Agnostic.
That's a nice compromise.
Children, I want you to know we have no idea who God is. I was like, did you ever hear when people are like, we're going to let the children pick their own religion? I'm like, well, that's not too much fucking pressure now, is it? I have to come up with existence.
If I had that as a kid, I'd just be worshiping Hulk Hogan.
Well, that is based on the mythology.
He is the immortal Hulk Hogan.
Anyway, we're talking about your drama, and speaking of a producer who still works at Sirius, no one's gotten Pepper's opinion on this point. So they call Pepper in and they go, how do you feel about this? It's all what you've always dreamed about, huh? Getting to take the role like this. And Chris goes, kind of wish she would have used my real name.
Yeah, he called him Pepper Hicks.
And
A
Ron goes,
fucking idiot.
I don't even know your real name. Like, I only know Pepper Hicks. Write your name down for me. Can I read it on air? And then Ron gets mad. He
Wait,
goes,
whoa. Hold on. Earl said this?
No, Ron said this. He didn't even know Pepper's real name. So he wrote it down, and Ron gets mad and goes, like, why did you go by Pepper Hicks? This is a real radio name. Why would you change it? And Fez goes, what is it? And he goes, do you want to know, Fez? And Fez goes, yeah. And he goes, is it okay, Pepper? And Pepper goes, yeah. And he goes, it's Todd Hilliard. And Fez goes, ew. And Ron goes, what, too gay? And he goes, no. And he goes, no, I meant you, Fez, too gay. And it just made me laugh out loud. Such a good bit. But then they make a reference to Stanley at some point, and Chris does have the perfect radio name. I mean, Chris Stanley just rolls off the tongue.
Okay.
I'm just throwing it out there. It's a compliment.
I mean, it sounds like a name to me, but that's fine.
And then what happens is what I'd like to call the parade of interns. As one by one, they all get called in and are asked who's taught them the most about radio so far in the business. And most of them go to you. A couple go Pepper or Pitts. I'm sorry. That was the weird lisp there. Pitsy, yeah. I don't know why I said Fitzy. But no, Pitsy. And then eventually when pressed, it's you. And it's just very apparent that Earl doesn't even know the interns' names, some of them. One guy said he just doesn't like Earl because he won't even say good morning when he sees him in the morning. And it's just like, how antisocial can you possibly be?
I mean, there is something to that when you are the leader of the team and you are you don't say hello, you don't greet people, you don't really talk to people. I mean, he's a very antisocial person. So, you can't even it's kind of crazy to be in a position where you're leading a group when you don't like talking to people.
I even not in radio, like just in shitty retail jobs.
Yeah.
The manager sets the tone for the day. There was a guy I had to work with at Dick's. His name was also Bobby. He spelled it with an I, and he was very flamboyant, and I didn't like that people might confuse us. But he was always in such a good mood that the day went better. Whether you wanted to be mad at him or like, he set the tone. And if you're the executive producer for a show, that's kind of your job. And you've had that conversation with me. So I feel perfectly
100%.
comfortable to put that out there. You're like, Rob, when you get frustrated, that sets the energy weird. We can't do this. And here's what we need to do, like, to make it in a good mood. And, that's a role I've taken to heart. Like, when we start these things now, I kind of joke a little bit, try to keep you light, but I'm not distracting you or in a bad, you know what I mean? Like, I think that's a huge thing. And even though it seems kind of petty by the intern to be like, he doesn't even say good morning, it's representative of the whole problem.
No, but I mean, can you imagine working at a place where, you go in, you kind of look at this person, hey, man, and I'm sure the intern said hello to Earl, and he didn't look up from his computer or say hi back. That's very, very odd. Very strange.
Yeah. When I would come in, if Steve or I had our headphones on and we missed the other guy coming in, it wouldn't be like, oh, hey, dude. It would be like, oh, my bad. I didn't see you come in. Good morning. Like, it's an important thing to set the tone.
It is.
You feel good, you play good. So they brought in all the interns who kind of one by one point out how much better you were at helping them than Earl. Then Wicklund responds and just goes, do you feel like this is appropriate timing with the $30,000 we just spent on a wedding?
Wait, Wicklund called in?
He responded to the email. He didn't actually call in. At one point, Hard Rock Johnny called in to see. He was
that's all he wrote back? Do you think this is appropriate?
Like, do you think this is good timing with us having spent all the money in this wedding? Now, the other thing that happens is a couple of callers call in to press Earl about issues. One says, hey, Ron, I'm also like lazy, yada, yada, yada. And then makes fun of Earl's Christianity, and he responds with like, oh, great comedic timing on your part too. And Ron just flips on him like, why do you do that to the callers? You're not even making this fun anymore. They play an old tape of Earl flipping out on a caller, and they're like, you do this all the time. He told the guy to get a life because he has free time in the middle of the day to watch the show. And
this is the Earl Douglas that I like. Finally, you're finally giving me an Earl Douglas I can get behind. Someone who's fucking smacking the goddamn callers fucking bunch of fresh callers, and he's fucking giving, punching them in the face and taking their lunch money. And this is the Earl Dougie I can get behind. This is the guy I like.
And Ron kind of points out that, like, he pretends like he didn't hear the insult at first, or maybe he missed it while he was writing a note or something. But he's like, he's not insulting you, Ron. I was like, I'm sorry, I think he insulted me. And if he did, hitting him with another insult. And it's like, all right, good for you, Earl. You finally kind of have a bit of a backbone. But on the tape where he called the guy a loser, because the guy called in and was like, why is the same replay starting over again at midnight on Friday? Like, why don't you do a fresh one? I just listened to that one. And Earl was like, so you listen to the show during the week, you listen to the replay. Why do you have time to listen to this one? And that's when Ron was like, why are you telling people not to listen to my show? Like, and really kind of went in.
There is truth to that. If the person is going to be some fucking shut-in psychopath who's only going to listen to Ron and Fez for the rest of his life, at least, yeah, maybe cater to that guy, not have the same exact episode back to back. I think that's what the guy was saying.
Oh, I agree completely. And who knows what the answer was? It may have been Earl just being Earl, like being defensive, not really having the truth. You know what I mean? Who knows? Then Earl does send the email. Wicklund kind of responds. The show is kind of coming to an end for the day, and Ron faces the question. So, like, well, Earl, what's the deal? Is Dave fired or not? Man's got a wedding to plan. And, like, it ended kind of unresolved. I think it was another example of Earl failing to, even if he had just went, you know what, I'm going to let him slide. We'll let him get married tomorrow. At least he made the choice. It feels like Earl doesn't know what to do. Almost kind of like when you are so overwhelmed, you just take a nap. Like that's
so he didn't say, oh, Dave's not fired. He didn't say Dave's fired. He didn't commit to either. What did I say about wishy-washy? Wishy-washy Doug. Wishy-washy Dougie.
Douglas, for sure.
I mean, that's the thing right there. It's like it really is like wrestling. You got to think a little bit on your feet. Pull one go in one direction and just stick with it. And maybe you like, how hard would this look? I haven't even thought about this in years. If actually, I'm not sure if I've thought about it since this happened. But the point is, how easy would this be for Earl? You could have done this the entire fucking episode and been a real fucking asshole. And then the last second, 5 minutes left in the show, Ron asks you that question. And you go, you know what, Ron? He takes out an envelope and he goes, all of this is just part of Davey Mac's wedding gift.
Yeah.
My wedding gift is going to be to rescind the firing request. And he hands me the envelope. And maybe the envelope contains a different email that he's going to write Wicklund. One which says how much shit I bring to the table. And then the other thing in that envelope is $100.
That's not even a lot to ask for.
But this way, there's an ending to the episode. Whereas he could have made this whole thing been, okay, I'm going to torment Dave. And now as a wedding gift, I'm going to let you off the hook.
Yeah, brilliant. What that's called, Dave, is being a producer, where your bit had a start, middle, and an end.
And I haven't thought of this fucking shit in 18 years. And on the spot, I just gave you a fucking ending to the goddamn fucking show that would have been fucking great. Means Earl Douglas comes up and goes, hey, in fact, the whole thing, he could have made this whole thing been, hey, this was a test, like a bachelor's party type of deal. This was a test. And I just wanted to see, how you as a married guy is going to react to some problems, when things happen. So this was all a test. But Davey Mac, here's my wedding gift.
Congratulations, buddy.
Congratulations.
Absolutely.
Boom, everyone goes home happy.
Like they do when they watch these things. The only other point to really address is there was some things about the wedding that came up during the episode that I thought were funny. At one point, Fez goes, Earl, I think you're going to have to get married tomorrow if this goes through. And Earl goes, to who? Without missing a beat. Like he was either in or fuck no to Casey. I don't know which one it was, but either seems realistic, knowing Earl.
No, I don't think I probably wasn't even thinking about her. I think he was just probably thinking about, who's Ron going to be setting him up with.
Of course. The other one was Ron at one point goes, I'm worried if this goes through, that poor girl's going to marry the Midnight Rider. And that made me laugh, just the tongue in cheekiness. But we learned you let them read the vows you wrote the day before, and apparently they were not good, and they gave you some advice, and then you rewrote it and made it more personal. Like I think you went kind of Roman Catholic as you described, where it was like, my dearly, lawfully wedded wife, I do untake, and they were like, no, you got to make it lovey dovey, and so. I just thought that was
fun.
Hard.
I didn't like doing that. Writing my own vows. What the fuck? What am I supposed to do? If I could write a sketch, like if I could have wrote my own wedding vow for the Midnight Rider, like, then I would have had no issues with that. But actually having to sit there and write like real wedding vows, like that was difficult. That's when I identified with Earl in that moment. The inability to write. Or create. See, it doesn't happen with sketches, characters, bits, storylines, or anything like that with me. But wedding vows, it did. So in that way, I can relate to Earl. Just as bad at writing as Earl Douglas when it comes to wedding vows. With Earl, it's every aspect of radio or entertainment. But for me, it's just wedding vows.
Well, hopefully you never have to write them again.
Yeah.
Hopefully you find a nice Catholic girl who gets married in a Catholic church and you can just use those things. That's all.
Oh, that'd be nice.
Speaking of vows, a lot of these fans have vowed to see you, Dave. Where should they check you out?
Listen. Oh, that's it? We're done?
That is our episode.
Oh, wow. That was exciting.
It was very exciting. Very unique.
I was very fired up. I'm going to say I'm still really fucked up on Dayquil, medication, and just being sick in general. So I hope the Eastside Davidians appreciate this episode. I think we gave him a really exciting episode. I wasn't expecting to bring the controversy the way I did, but then all of a sudden the Dayquil kind of kicked in. Do you think this episode was I too insane?
No, not at all. I think it was evident. It was fitting of the evidence we were playing for you. Like you were reacting as if you were in the moment.
The thing about Tales from the Satellite is we don't bullshit. This shit does get me fired up all these years later. And the problem is if I'm under medication, I do get extra fired up. That's why I've learned to not, remember early in Tales from the Satellite, we would have, sometimes we'd have episodes where I'd have a beer or two, because we wanted to have a celebratory episode. And then I found that even having like a, Davey Mac IPA or two, I'm getting extra fired up.
So maybe
we should have, you know what, Robert? I'd like to have a fun drinking episode again. Do we have, I know we did in archives, the
Power
the Power Hour. Do we have any kind of other shows? There's the drinking episode that Opie went into the Ron and Fez show. I think I sent that to you.
Well, we can talk about all this off the air.
Oh, yeah. That's right. I am officially on drugs, and I apologize.
It's all good. Check out the Davey Max Sports Program.
We were just having our post-show little meeting that we like to do, and we were just having that on the air. We just decided to give you guys it. You guys actually we're going to have now a Tales from the Satellite.
Yep.
We're going to there's going to be 5 layers of this show in like 20 years. We're going to I'm going to have another fucking person talking about, asking me questions about how much I hate Robert.
No, it's going to be them asking me about you. And then that guy's going to have a show about our show. It's the never-ending.
All right. Let's get out of here. I'll say this. Davey Max Sports Program going strong. You guys all love it. We missed Monday because of this, the sickness, the coldness, the COVID, the flu, the whatever the fuck it is. That was prime time. I didn't have a chance. Today it felt like shit, but you know what? We got through it and enjoyed the episode. But Davey Max Sports Program, make sure you're subscribed and make sure you're listening. It's available anywhere you can find podcasts. And, of course, the video is available on YouTube. The Davey Mac, the Eastside Davidson Wrestling Show. Check that out. Yaddle Chaddle. Going to bring, have brought that back, but that's really a show we're doing for sort of post episodes. So when Skeleton Crew comes back, Skeleton Crew's the next Star Wars series. When that comes to on Disney, then look for Yaddle Chaddle to be weekly episodes after each episode of that. I don't know if I'm making sense anymore, so that's it. That's it. Patreon.com/Eastside Dave.
And follow me at Bobby Tamburo. Check me out November 23rd at the Laughing Stock Comedy Club. And thank you. Good night, radio fans.